Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors trading on margin. Utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
Hey, good morning, everyone. So Dante is traveling right now. He will be part of the meeting, audio only. So we're just gonna take a couple more minutes before we get this all fired off here.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, what's up, Jackie?
Not much, man.
I just got the message. So they said just got off the phone with Dante. So we're gonna have a fantastic session.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even though I only had one thing on my chart.
Well, you know.
Yeah. I mean, well, you already know it's S&P.
Surprise. Let's do you see anyone else on here? That I gotta fill out the panelist list.
Hi everyone. I'm looking and I don't see anyone else in there. Ooh, Rhode Island, Music City, Croatia. I'm just looking at everybody.
Man, we got people all around the world. Look at this, guys. This is awesome.
Nice.
Hey, we got 125 people on the call this morning. 125 right now. So we're this is fantastic. Good morning, everyone, from wherever you are tuning in from, all around the world. Myself, I'm in Ottawa, Ontario.
Nice. I'm in Delaware. I know everybody's like, Delaware.
Yeah, who lives in Delaware other than
Delaware? We're the first state. That's our claim to fame. This little itty bitty state. Go through the whole state in like 45 minutes. Sorry, I was eating my sandwich here. For those of you guys that are on the East Coast in the tri-state area of Pennsylvania and Jersey and Delaware, Wawa is the place to be. Manchester.
Yeah, you guys are pretty exotic up in Manchester anyway. Exotic in a different way, I guess.
My girl Sissy's on here. Sissy's in Greece. And we have made a decision that once this stuff with COVID settles down and we can travel a little more safely, I'm coming to visit her on her farm in Greece.
Fantastic, guys. We'll keep on. Now you got Dubai in here. I know there's a great community developing out in Dubai.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sydney. Oh yeah, Wawa. See, love it. People know about Wawa. I just love this community and all the different people. And
hey, we got 153 people thus far, guys.
Nice. You want to? Is that enough to get started?
I don't know. I think we could get a couple more.
Yeah.
Maybe we send that link out to your friends, your prospects, people that maybe just need to see some software in action.
Yes.
All right, I'll bring one of my trading buddies in.
Oh, there's Al.
Ava.
I see Al here too, right?
Yeah.
Ava. Okay.
Yeah, Al's in here already.
Good morning, Jackie.
Hi, Al. How are you?
We're doing great.
Good.
No, the
good.
webinar is not audio only. No, we're gonna do video as soon as we're getting ready to launch here. I think we're pretty close to 200 people, guys. Come on.
Morning, Jackie. How you doing?
Sorry, I was on mute. My bad. Hi, Eva. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
Guess what? Guess what I got on my chart, Eva? Guess what I got on my chart?
Have you got S&P?
Oh, yes. And guess
I
what?
know.
I'm about to close out too because I'm like, you know what? That's 150 pips. I don't know if I want to play this anymore.
No, don't play it anymore. You got 150 pips, then secure the bag and move on.
I'm
Look for
securing
another.
the bag. Yep, because it's playing around
lock
with this
it in.
resistance.
Oh no, you don't want that.
Put it in the bank.
Yep. Playing around with this resistance. No, thank you, S&P. No, thank you. I can show y'all about my trade when it's done, but yeah, y'all about to hear the click.
Yeah.
Click.
Hey, let's also, Jackie, let's also re-emphasize we're not over 230 yet. No, Cam. Oh, actually, Cam, hold on, man. I missed you. I apologize.
See Cam either. Hi, Cam.
I got you.
He said, "Are we over 230?" Not yet.
No, we're gonna be. Hold on here.
See my guy Alan here.
Mr. Kirkar. Good morning, brother. How you doing?
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
He was all smooth with that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh man.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me on.
Great to have you here. I saw you guys had a great trip.
Yeah, we did. Well, it's not a trip. We moved here.
Be quiet. You moved?
Yeah. All
right.
I hope your voice. It's been a little bit.
Man, I hope you get a bigger horse.
Did it really look that small?
Yeah, dude. Well, you're not a little guy, so I mean that quarter horse was it made me laugh.
Honestly, Shakira did a wonderful job. I think she was a little bit older, but she put her heart and soul into that 3 or 4 hour ride, and I appreciate her greatly. She killed it. But I felt a little bit bad. I did feel a little bit big for her.
I saw the pictures and I smiled real big. I'm like, dude, they need to pull someone like you. They need like a draft horse or something.
Honestly, I've never had more fun for less than $20 in my entire life.
That's awesome.
3+ hours of just riding a horse through the mountains of Medellin, Colombia. It was incredible. But Jackie, how are you?
I'm fine, Cameron. How are you?
I saw the recent rank up,
yes.
And I see that the team is absolutely exploding. I know we're on here to trade and stuff, but it's so sweet to see all the movement that's happening across the entire community. But congrats on your success.
Thank you so much, Cam. You're so sweet with your smooth voice.
I know he's got a voice I could listen to all day, man. So we got 182 in here right now.
That's incredible.
Good.
That's incredible.
I think we're good to go. Jackie, what are you thinking?
We can go. Let's do this.
All right. Let's fire up some charts. You could start by doing the trade that you're in right now, and then we'll keep some notification. We'll keep our charts open for any of the other pairs, and then we'll keep an eye on the chat. If you have any questions whatsoever, please put them in the Q&A section so that we don't lose it in the comments section, because the comment sections are about to get lit in the next little bit once we start taking some trades and you start seeing some potential profits. Now, let's go over some quick disclaimers. I don't have my disclaimers up right now. Is there anyone that has them? Then
I can read them if you want.
Yeah, you know what, Al? Yeah, we're getting ready to take off anyway. So how about
do this again? Okay,
let's go, Al.
Welcome. This is Tuesday, January 26th. Trading the foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk. and may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Before deciding to invest in the foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objective, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with the foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. This is a live trading room. It is for educational purposes only. No financial advice or recommendations will be provided. Any trade taken during the live session is not a recommendation or a suggestion that you should also do the same. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Do not trade money that you cannot afford to lose. And before trading live, always operate with a written trade plan that identifies the rules for entries, exits, targets, and risk management. Take it away, Matt.
All right. So Mariska's here. She was going to be happy that we went through the disclaimers right off the bat. So
You makes my heart jump with joy.
good. Good. Any news on the updated disclaimers that we can use in regards to AIRO to be for these sessions, or is that still in the works?
It's in the works, but I think they will be available somewhere this week.
Okay, perfect then. Jackie,
Yes.
you ready, friend?
I am so ready. I'm so ready.
Okay, just a quick disclaimer about what you're going to see on your charts, guys. If you are new, if you have never traded the Forex before, or maybe you're green and you haven't taken 100 demo trades or 50 demo trades, what you're about to see might go right over your head. This is just a vision of what you can achieve by using AIRO, okay? So don't go the first week and think that what you're about to see is something you can get to without first not mastering the foundations of AIRO.
Well said, Matt. Well said.
Just making sure, guys. Got to set the preamble, because right now, this what you're about to see gonna blow your socks off and leave your toes smoking. But there's a lot of work behind this, and this is not an entry level strategy or trade by no means.
No means, absolutely. I actually have it. I have it up. I have two charts up. So, because somebody just asked about S&P. So, while we're waiting for other alerts, as you can see, I only trade S&P. So I think last week when I was on the call, I had currency pairs on there, and I know everybody else trade currency pairs. That's just not me. So I just said, let me get those off my chart and stick with stay in my lane. And my lane is S&P 500. Now, really quickly, if you're new, this is you got to stick with the basic bag strategy. Strategy number 1. That means trading off of the 15-minute time frame. That means trading the 10 suggested currency pairs. If you're brand new to AIRO, don't come on here and see this. Oh, somebody got an alert. Don't come on here and see this and be like, oh, I'm gonna just trade S&P. No, not yet. Okay. Now, because there's other people that's on here that have a little bit more experience. So just watch and see this. Okay. I trade off of the hour time frame. All right. And y'all is gonna be like, look at all those lines and stuff like that. Just wait, I'll get there. Okay. I trade off of the hour time frame. The reason why is because I'm a busy girl. I got kids and grandkids and doing all kinds of trainings and stuff like that. I don't have time to scalp anymore. And scalping is on the lower time frames. However, since we're on this call today, I might just do it live here. And that's why I'm on the hours. So for those of you who feel like you don't have time to sit here and catch alerts that's off of the 15-minute chart, try the hour chart. There's less alerts, but you're kind of going to be able to at least catch a little bit more pips with them. So those are for that. I had to come up with something for the people that work full-time jobs and they're like, oh, I can't trade New York session, or I ain't getting up for London session because I'm right there with y'all. I'm on the East Coast. Y'all not catching me trade London session ever because that's too early for me. But I figured out and I saw the top hour time frame is a little bit easier. Okay. Now, works on any pair. Okay. It's just apply the strategy. And guess what strategy I used? Bag entry. Strategy number 1. Bounce, arrow, go. That's all I use for this trade. I have these extra lines on here because I was trying to see if I could hold the trade longer, but I'm also impatient. And I was like, you know what? I'm just getting out the trade. So, and in case y'all are wondering, yes, this is a live account. Actually, this is one of my accounts. This is a smaller account. This is one of the accounts that I have that I'm going through a challenge with the rest of a group of people. I'm trying to show them I could build from a $100 account. That's what I'm doing. So this is a live account that I'm showing y'all. So here's my trades. And again, I'm only just showing this so you can see the trade entry and when I got out. Okay. So this is a trade. I got in at 38.53. And you're going to be like, all right, well, where is that at? I'm going to show you where it's at. It is this arrow right here. Okay. So this arrow alert, there was a support zone there. Okay. This is yesterday. There was a support zone. So what do we see? You see a support zone. We're in a trend. You zoom out when you get the alert. Zoom all the way out. Same thing. I got more green than I have red. More support versus resistance. So I'm in an uptrend. I always trade with the trend. I don't counter trade. You want to know why? Because I'm not successful with it. I don't know how long the counter is going to happen. I'd rather follow the money. Oh, what happened?
No, I'm just saying, at least you know your zone. At least you know your lane. You know what works for you.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. It works for me. I can't. I'm not good at catching stuff like this. I'm too afraid that I don't know. So I'd rather just follow the money. Okay. So you zoomed out. We know we're in an uptrend. That's rule number 1. All right. Rule number 2, wait for the arrow alert. Alert came and you trade with the trend. I'm only looking for up arrows. I'm still talking strategy number 1. All right. Even for the new people, basic strategy. Now you got your bounce from your support zone. It's not there anymore because it got ripped yesterday, but it was there. Arrow, go. Now, because I'm on the H1, I'm not looking for 20 pips. I'm looking for more pips because it takes longer for the trade sequence to complete itself. So I'm looking for 50 to 125 pips. Okay. Even though this is S&P 500, and if you don't know what S&P is, it's an index. When we talk about the indices, this is one of the U.S. indexes, Standard & Poor's 500, right? I prefer this index because I can follow the trends of it a little bit more. I can watch the chart and I can see where it's moving a little easier than it is for me to trade NASDAQ and Big Brother Dow Jones. And it's not as volatile as the other two as well. Okay, up arrow, you take the trade on the next candle. Basic bag strategy, bounce, arrow, go. So I'm gonna use this cross here so you see when I got in. 38.53 is what I told y'all. So I'm like right around here, right? All up in this zone. And you're gonna be, and when you're taught, you're like, don't take any trades that are in the zone. Correct? However,
correct.
However, what you could do is you need to be able to recognize the trend. This would not have been a regular good trade for any new person. All right. I'm telling y'all right now, this ain't the trade for you unless you have additional analysis to follow you. That's where these other lines that I have on here go. Okay. So what these other lines are, Fibonacci. I'm not going to explain Fibonacci completely to you because that's for another call later on. However, what it does is it measures the trend for me. I see how far back it retraces, and then I go again. As I can see that it only retraced back this far, it needs to come back to 0. So I'm automatically looking for 0, and it did not hit. So I said, okay, well, you didn't go back that far. You got to get there eventually. So I'll wait. That's why I took the trade. Even if it was in the zone, I'm waiting. Even then it came back and I was in this drawdown and then it came back up again and it just waited. You got to be patient with our chart trades. And then what happened? It hit 0 and I'm out. That's why when I first started this call, I was like, let me go ahead and catch my pips and get out right now. From where I got in to where I got out, that's a $15 move. That's 150 pips. Okay. And here it is right here, where I got in, where that's a take profit that I was going to shoot for. And then I got impatient, but this is where I got out, 150 pips. And that's usually what I shoot for. I usually shoot for 75 pips in a week. And so I just doubled my goal for the week. And I probably would have went more, but I'm being impatient and I like to be out the market by Tuesday. Usually I'm out yesterday, but as you can see, it was playing around. So I had to wait till today. And that is my trade. There is nothing special about it aside from me just using the Fibonacci to see if it hit the 0 or not. Otherwise, if this resistance wasn't there, you brand new, take your bounce arrow, go. Same thing when this happened. This arrow, you wouldn't take it. Why? Because it's going against the rules. It's a counter trend. We on an uptrend. You should only be looking for up arrows. If y'all saw on the call last week, you saw I was in these trades right here all week. That's kind of what I was hoping it was going to do today. And it just might, but I'm impatient.
So Jackie,
Yes.
for the 230 people on this call, some people are asking, what was your stop loss, to give us an idea? Now I see where you got some heat on this trade.
Yep, I sure
you got
did.
You got lots of heat.
I got a lot of heat. Wave all of this. So the way I look at my stop loss is, this is the retracement and it went to the 38 level. If you don't know what the 38 level is, it's 38.2. I just rounded it. And Nate teaches that in his strategies. And I usually go for 2 fib levels down. So 1, 2. I'm at the 62. This was my stop loss. That's a lot of pips from where I was at. So I was willing to risk those pips because I was actually kind of expecting this drawdown since this resistance zone was here. But that was where my stop loss is, and that's why I didn't hit. I was perfectly happy with that. So when all that heat was happening, I got a little shaky. I was like, oh man, here you go. You guys are going to stop me out. But it didn't. And I said, okay, we're good to go. But all of this right here, that was nothing but the markets over there messing with people, saying, you think we're going up. Let me just take all your money and wipe all y'all out first and then go the direction we want to go. That's what this mess was. But, you know, if you start looking at candlestick formations and things like that, it teaches you. One good thing I learned was the Candlestick Bible. That was actually a pretty cool document that somebody had sent to me to teach me about different candlestick formations. And when I zoom in, this little thing right here, I still don't know what this is called, but it's a hammer, but it's a bullish hammer. That's what I call it. I don't know what you call it though. But
I don't know. I call it a candlestick and a wick.
There you go. A candlestick and a wick. But I saw this happening and I said, oh, okay, you coming back in my direction. And I just waited. And then, you know, you had a little bit more heat. It didn't complete right here. Why? Because there ain't no more liquidity. There's no more momentum happening at this time of day. We're outside the money zone. So that's why I had to wait again. And then it finishes today. And actually, I'm seeing that it's actually going way more in my favor here now too. So,
hey Jackie,
but,
there's a question. There's a question in the box about the yellow lines. Those are your fib lines. Do you want to explain to those a little bit for someone?
Sure. The fib lines. I'm actually gonna redraw it really quickly because, and Al, you're so funny. You're gonna say that. Al's the one who taught me how to draw this Fibonacci lines. Everybody, just so you know.
Oh, look at that, eh?
You know, Al didn't know what he was doing when he showed it to me, but I said, Al, you just unleashed the beast on these markets when you showed that.
Created a monster, Al.
You created a monster, Al.
You're so funny.
You didn't realize what you were doing, but thank you for that. I am going to show you guys a little bit probably differently than the way Al originally taught me, because I kind of just tailored it to work more for me. And I will stress that to anybody. When you're trading or you're learning a new strategy, take the time to practice. I didn't just learn this like in one day. You know, I catch on things pretty quickly, but I practice. I mean, if y'all heard Matt's call last week, when Matt taught me wedges. So when I learned wedges, I did like 500 wedges. I didn't learn it in one day. I practiced, but that's just me. I like to practice until I master it, and then I tweak it to make it fit my thought process, and then I attack the markets. That's my whole process in trading. So when Al taught me Fibonacci, it was off of the 1 minute, and I was like, okay, Al, that's a little too fast for me. So let me see if I can apply this for a different time frame. And it's been working out great for me. So Fibonacci, I use the retracement tool. I know Al originally taught me with the expansion tool, but I use retracement, and it's this little button right here. Okay. And what I do is I look for the trend. We already know to do the bag entry, you zoom out. That's the power of AIRO. I don't need to try and figure out if we're in an uptrend or downtrend. AIRO does it for me. So that's checklist done on that one. So now what do? You draw the fib for the trend. When it's an uptrend, I start from the swing low to a swing high. Okay, I see somebody raise their hand. We'll probably get to you in a second. But in this, you're going to use this retracement tool here. And again, this is, if you're new, it's okay. If you want to DM me, we could talk about fib later. It's all right. Just listen. It's going to change your life. I go from the lowest point, and I'm going to actually move my mouse to make sure I'm in the right lowest point here. There we go. Lowest point was right here. The lowest point below this trend line. Okay, this is AIRO's trend line. This is not something that you created. This is not the 50 or none of that. There's a bunch of stuff that creates this trend line. So the lowest point below that trend line is my starting. All right, right here. I was taught to go wick to wick. I actually started going body to body, but today I went wick to wick. So I'll keep it easier for you guys. Start from the low and you go to the top. High. Highest point at the wick. Catch the wick. That's where those lines come from. Everybody that know me know, even when I was learning to draw wedges, I can't draw wedges to save my life. My trend lines are crappy. I'm not an artist. So thank goodness Fibonacci will draw these horizontal lines for me. Okay? And each of these lines are levels. All those levels there. These are custom levels. These are not your normal standard levels. These levels I got from Nate, the developer of AIRO, in his strategy. Okay? That's all you got to do. All this does is from swing high to swing low. And now you just watch. Excuse me. And that's what I do. I'm patient. Sometimes I'm not good with the scalping anymore because I don't have the patience for it to sit there and scalp and look for setups. I'd rather come for the H1, look for an alert, and then go about my business. And so here I wait for the retracement. A retracement, all that means is it's like a pullback. We're on an uptrend, so a retracement or pullback is going to be when it starts to trend down. And then you wait. I see that it touched. It's kind of skinned it, but it touched this 38 level. That's a retracement. When it kind of stops at the 24, I don't count those as retracements. Me personally, I don't like it because every single time I've seen it, that sucker went right back the other direction. But when it comes to a 38 or below, okay, that's a retracement. And then I just wait. So Nate will teach you different candlestick formations that you could use to get in the trade early. But I said you got to watch a chart for that. I don't want to do that. I use AIRO alert. Get the alert on my phone, or if I'm here to ding, take the alert, see how far back it retrace, and then go about my business. But that's the Fibonacci, quick and dirty for everybody. And look at that thing taking off, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, quick thing. Your questions, if you put them in the chat, you can put them in the chat, but they may not get answered because the chat's going really fast. We've already had 150 messages sent in the chat. Now we got 250 people on this call. So quick thing, okay, guys. I don't here. Some people.
Hey Matt, I got an idea.
Go ahead, my friend.
Hey, so what I'm thinking is, and maybe this was mentioned earlier before I got, before you guys got me on as panelist, but what I'm thinking is, if you guys want to, let people know you're in the trade or whatever, if you're, you're hyped on some profits you're making, jump in the chat. But if you got a question, go into the Q&A. So we can split it up a little bit, because we're getting so many messages on our end where just jump in the Q&A, ask a question. We can divvy it up a little bit better, and we have a better chance of getting to all your stuff. But if it's a hype, more, like you're just chatting with other people back and forth, go into the chat box.
Mhm.
That's really good. That's really good. I may have misspoken earlier. Anyway, questions, generally keep them in the Q&A. That way we can address them. We don't want to miss your questions, right? And we don't want you to feel ignored either.
Right.
Let me show something. You were talking
Sure.
about wedges a little bit.
Yeah. You want me to stop sharing my screen?
Yeah, just for a sec.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Just going to do this really quick. So, I can show you guys something I just drew, and this is not forecasting. Okay. This is not a signal, and this is not financial advice. So if you decide to do whatever you decide to do, then you do it, but not, whatever. All right. This is your S&P 500, Jackie.
I see it.
Okay. So what I did is I drew a trend line. We got rejection here. We got rejection here. We got support all the way up here. So what I did is I went from this last hit to here to this trend line. I drew that. It has about a 70% chance to go all the way up there. It's pretty significant, guys. It could take a significant amount of time to get there, but it just give you an idea of what you can actually do. Now, another side to this whole story, okay? If for any reason it starts pulling out of here, then you can switch this trend line. You can draw it a little differently, and then this becomes your resistance zone. So then you can put your stop loss a lot closer than having it at 40 pips.
Excellent.
Example, price comes down to here. Okay. So if we have price, let me, I don't like the brush on this one, but it's fine. So say price comes down here, it meanders, it comes here, boom. Okay. We get an arrow for a buy move. You're not going to put your stop loss at 40 pips. You don't have to go way down here. You can actually go just a little bit on the other side here. But that takes some getting used to. You need a volume of these trades. That means less risk in the trade or more pips per trade. You can load your pips with more your lot size in your trade. So you can decrease your risk by 50% potentially. So that's the power of having these wedges, because in addition to what we have on AIRO with these zones, we can add these trend lines, and it can really make a difference. Now, if you're new, please understand, don't go start drawing trend lines everywhere and saying, well, let's go draw trend lines and put my stop on the other side of the trend line, and price slices right through that trend line like hot knife through butter. It takes a volume. Now, we got a couple alerts, did we? And then
somebody said it was, I heard an alert when I was talking earlier.
I see an Aussie US and Aussie yen. Be careful with Aussie. They're on banking holidays today.
That's a good point. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Ali, did you want to do the Aussie US one? And then we can.
I can.
Or anyone you want to do.
Let me see. Yeah, we can do that. I can do one. Let me do the Aussie US. Let me share my screen.
All right, I'll stop sharing.
And also, Matt.
What's that?
There was also a Swiss yen that was 20 minutes prior to that.
Oh, Swiss yen would be all right too.
Yeah, so
yeah,
one of those three ought to be good.
Oh, yeah, I think you need to let me share here.
Oh, yes, sorry. All panelists and all panelists. It should work now, my friend.
No, it should work.
You got it?
Right. Let me go. Yep. Let me go and share my screen here.
Okay, I'm going to peruse through the comments section as you're speaking.
I'll look at the Aussie US to start with here. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Aussie US.
I'm helping by going through the Q&A too.
And when I look at the Aussie US, I immediately see that there's a zone sitting right right in front of it, so that's going to be a no trade. But let's go to the full analyzation process. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit that little minus magnifying glass to zoom in as close as I can, or zoom out as far as I can. And we see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red zones, and we have 2 green zones. So this is in a downtrend. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and put my arrow, my down arrow, and I'm just going to sit over here right by the zone. So that way, if this zone goes, I know that we're in a downtrend, but I'm also going to know that if this arrow, if that zone goes away, I'll know that there was a zone sitting there. If this were to be in a downtrend, we have an up arrow, that's a no trade. It's as simple as that. We can look and scale in a little bit, and we'll see exactly, we can do the closer analysis. But come over here with your little crosshairs. Here's where the arrow was. The close of that arrow, of that was, see the price of the arrow, it was at 77.37. So 77.37 is right here at the bottom. So this was actually, it looks like it's probably an actual red candle. But the top of the zone is only 8 pips away. We need 20 pips. So the fact we have a zone right in front of us, that's a no trade. And besides that, 2 reasons. One, you don't have the 20 pips. Second reason, we're in a downtrend with an up arrow. Again, no trade. And then there was the Aussie yen. I'll come on with the Aussie yen. Take a look at that one. It looks like that has the same basic picture. We'll scale in, see how many zones we have. And we see we have 3 red zones, 1 green zone. Come over here with my arrows. I'll show where the zones are. This is where the last zone was. We're in a downtrend. Now, if you want to, you can make these arrows a little bit bigger. Usually I make them a little bigger. Go to the object arrow property. I just right click to bring up the arrow property. And this last little box over here, you can make it thicker. The thicker it is, the bigger the arrow becomes. I kind of like about that size here. Put it right next to the zone. Now I know that if this zone goes away, I'll know that there was a zone here, but it wasn't a downtrend. We have a downward pressure, so we should be taking only shorts. We have an up arrow, too close to the zone. Again, no trade. Then there was the Swiss yen. And we'll come over here to the Swiss yen. And we're going to zoom in. We have 1, 2, 3 red zones. We have 1 green zone. We're in a downtrend. So we're going to take our arrow.
Hey Al, since you're going over that real quick, could you show just another time how you would recognize whether it's an uptrend or a downtrend on which time frame for the 15 minutes specifically?
Yeah, we're looking at the 15-minute chart, and I said we just zoom. We have these two little magnifying glasses here, right next to this little square box. But there's the zoom out. I take it out as far as I can, and then I count the zones. Now, one thing I see right here is that we have 2 zones right here, but actually I can view this as either as one zone. I like if they have 2 specific zones. When there's just a very thin area in between, I kind of look at that as just one zone, and it's going to be one really thick zone. If you scale down here, you'll see there's only 1 green zone. Now, one thing I look at this is that we have a pretty wide range. If we just had one zone up and one zone down below, if we have 50 pips between those zones, then it would be a tradable zone. So if we look from measure from here to here, that's looks like 85 pips. So there would be plenty of room in between those 2 zones. But the problem we have is we have a red and a green zone right here. So basically what's happening is this thing's basing. We had a strong move up, it came back down. So we have a drop, it's basing right now. Now it could break through here and head down here. If this green zone goes away, you've got room to the green line for your 20 pips. You could take that trade if you have a down arrow. The fact if it breaks to the upside, that will take out the red zone, and now you have 2 green zones below with 1 zone. So that would change this arrow to an uptrend. So right now, this is in a place where I would just stay away from it until one of those red or green zones goes away. You can just expand it out here a little bit. And you'll see that the range between the top of the red and the top of the bottom of the green, you'll see that you have, the range is about 19 pips range, which the whole range is less than what your target would be. So that's not a trade until one of these zones goes away, and that might change the direction of the arrow, because then you would have one red. If this red goes away, you'd have one red zone, and then you'd have two green zones below. That would give you an uptrend. And so right now, I'm going to put this as a they're kind of fighting each other right now. They're in the middle. So I'm just going to do is I'm going to put just a little, whoops, wrong one. Let me take that one out. We want the up, so we want a up arrow right here. And I want a down arrow right here. And right now we have dueling banjos right now. And when one of these zones goes away, this will go away and give you the direction, and then you could have a trade. Any questions about that? The biggest thing is right now you have a strong sideways range, had a strong move up, it pulled back, is basing. Now the question is it going to go further to retest this zone, or is it going to break and go back up to retest this zone? Either zone has enough room for a target. And we'll see who wins this battle.
Yeah, we got a really strong zone of consolidation, right? Right where we're at. So it would be very, I don't know, it's not something that someone should walk into right now. Can you show how you drew the line that showed how many pips between the candle and the zone? That's one of the MT4 things. Yeah. Can you do that?
Yeah. Swiss, or is our zone? It's the Swiss. I'll just go with the Aussie USs. That'll work.
Yeah.
Here.
Just do it one more time, just in case someone.
Aussie. We'll pull up an Aussie US chart here. Okay. So what we have is there's a little cross, on your toolbar up here, where you have your what am I saying? Your timeline. Your basically what time zone chart you're looking at. Over to the left, you'll see this little cross. Just click on the cross, and that pulls up your little crosshairs. And then what I do is I just take it to where I want to, and I left click and just drag, and that just brings it right on up to measure it that way. And then I can drag. Just keep your left button, click down, and so I've got 62 pips. And you look, basically you'll see the 11, 12, 13. That's how many candles off where I started. So I'm 16 candles back, and it says 635. We'll just move a decimal point between the 3 and the 5. So it's basically 63.5 pips. Come up to the upside. The first number tells you how many candles to the left or right you would be. And the other number would be just drop the last digit and just count the pips right there. That would be 10 pips. That would be 15 pips. That's 15.9 pips. So right there would be 17.7 pips. So basically just look at the first two numbers, and that tells you, and you're looking for the 20 pips. So your 20 pips would be right in that area. And you can see that you have to get through that zone in order to get to your target.
We've got another question for you, Al. That extra arrow that you added to your chart. How did you do that, and why are you doing that?
This arrow, basically this is an arrow that I just put on to show the direction, rather than have every time. Usually this will stay pretty close to but if you scale in or zoom out and you count your zones, what this tells me is that this is in a downtrend, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zones. So that means we're in a downtrend. I use this to tell me what my trend is. And I also know that I put it right by the last red zone, so that if this candle comes up and takes that zone away, I'll know that there was a zone sitting here. Because once these zones go away, you don't see them anymore. So it's hard to know really, was there a zone here or not? Why did I not take this trade when there isn't a zone there? One's already passed through it. This way kind of marks it, saying the reason I didn't take this trade is because we had an up arrow and I had a zone here. But if this up arrow goes and takes this zone out and comes up to this area and it gives me another bounce, well, I know that I'm still in a downtrend, but this is one less zone to be looking at. And so then if this zone goes away, then I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 red zones, and then I'll have probably would have 3 green zones. I'd still be in a downtrend, but this tells me that there was a zone here, and it also tells me what direction it was at the time at that zone.
Did you mention how you drew that and how you added that to your chart?
Well, I thought I did. I just come up here to this where this little up and down arrow, this little drop down up in the upper on your toolbar, and then it says you have like a thumb up, thumb down, arrow up, arrow down.
Perfect.
And so I just look at the just say, okay, this was the down arrow, and then when you draw the arrow, there's a couple things you can do. You can just highlight that get that little dot on there, and then right click, and it shows you what the arrow properties are. And if you click on the arrow properties, you have this window comes up. You can change the color of it. I've made mine dark orange. And then there's a little drop down arrow here. This will tell you how big you want it. This is like a thickness line, but it really tells you how big you want the arrow. I like using about this area right here. Click OK, and you'll see it'll change the color of the size of the arrow.
We've got a loaded question here from Mr. Beach Panda himself.
Oh.
So we're looking at the Aussie US. Say we're doing that, and at the 15-minute level. So if we have our charts loaded with AIRO at the 15-minute level, we're only going to receive 15-minute alerts. You're not going to receive 30-minute alerts or 5-minute alerts or 1-minute alerts. So
correct.
whatever time frame you have your chart set is the time frame that you're going to set your AIRO, and you're going to get those alerts. And if you there was a real good question about looking at different time frames. So some people said, oh, well, on the 30-minute, it's at one time frame, at one has these zones drawn, and at the 15-minute, it has these zones drawn. My answer to that is simply, what are you trading? Are you trading the 15-minute or are you trading the 30-minute?
Exactly.
If you're new, one more thing. Sorry, Al. Don't mean to be cutting you off. If you're new, stick to the 15-minute. And there is something that goes on sometimes with the indicator. So if you're switching from time frame to time frame, you sometimes the zones won't paint properly. So Nate said that you need to remove it from your chart and then put it back on and leave it on the time frame that you want to trade. Sorry, go ahead, Al.
Yeah, I think one thing we're finding out, and we're seeing this more and more, is that with people using different brokers. In fact, this happened on an earlier session this morning. I didn't have a zone, but yet Mariska had a zone. But that was because of the difference in the brokers. It has to do with where the feed is and spread. Now, I'm not sure. The prices should be relatively close, but sometimes the candle may just close out at a different time. It may just be by a couple of milliseconds, but the different brokers will have might have that candle closing out differently because of their feed, and that may be enough to either generate a zone or not. But if you look at this chart right now, we can see that we're on a 15-minute chart. Now, as Matt said, whatever time frame your chart is on, as it's waiting for the alerts to come in, that's the time frame that the alert is going to be generated. But even though once you have it generated, keep in mind that the higher the time frame, more than likely the bigger the stop that you're going to need, but also in retrospect, the larger target you could probably have. One of the strategies is a 1 hour time frame for a swing trade. And if I put this on a 1 hour chart and I'm looking at it being a swing trader, I can put this on a 1 hour. My zones are going to be different. Now you can see as I zoom out, we still have some of the same zones on the higher time frame, but we also have a little different. Now you can see on a higher time frame, this is definitely in an uptrend. We have strong green zones. We have a couple of strong red zones, but then we have that one green zone that was here earlier. Now it went away, but you still have the green zone went away, but now you have a strong red zone. So, but if you're looking at as a swing trade, you probably you'll stay in the trade longer, more than likely, rather than being in and out in 15 minutes or an hour, you may be in it for a couple of days or even a week. So just keep in mind that you can change the dynamics of how big of an uptrend in a 1 hour chart, or excuse me, an uptrend in a lower time frame chart, you'll see it trending, but in reality, on a higher time frame, it's really going sideways. And keep that in mind as you change from time zone to time frame to time frame, is that you will always find an uptrend, you always find a downtrend, but the higher time frame you go, that same range is going to be more sideways. And that's about all I can say about that.
Well, that's super concise, Al. That's as simple as she gets.
What else can I say?
Well done, Al. Well done.
So let's what do we got here? Did we get another alert? I think I got something here. What Swiss yen sell?
Swiss yen. Let's see what we have. Swiss yen sell. I think we have Swiss yen buy. This is the one where remember we said that right now it's fighting between who's going to win this one, uptrend or downtrend. This one we just talked about this one. And you can see that now you see it's going sideways right now. Let me go to a 5-minute chart. And in this case, it's still going sideways. But if you...
That's the one that's been consolidating forever.
But you can also see, if you're looking at a lower... let's go to 1-minute chart. Remember we said it's going sideways reference to the 15-minute chart. As I go down to the actually, I guess I'm in on a 1-minute chart. You can see actually on a 1 minute, it's actually trending. You have a low, a high, a low, went sideways, come back, trend. So this is actually trending. High, here's a low, here's a high, here's a lower high, or lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. This is actually trending, but on a 1-minute chart, it's trending. But if you go back to your 5-minute chart, your 15-minute chart, it's really going sideways. You have just up and down, up and down, up, down, all within here. So you see this little mark right here is actually a little bit of a trend, but it's really, if you look, it's really going in a sideways. And the smaller the time frame, if it's going sideways in a low time frame, it's really going sideways in a higher time frame. But if it's trending in a higher time frame, it's really trending in a lower time frame. Go back to 15. Let's go back to 15-minute here. And again, you can see this is just range. It hasn't moved out of this range. Go up to my little crosshairs up here. See how I do that again. Grab my crosshairs over here, left click, drag it down, and you can see that it hasn't gone but 22 pips since the close of yesterday. And that's so for the last, let's see, for the last 62 15-minute candles, it hasn't gone more than 22 pips from the high to the low. 62 candles is a lot for the same range like that. This isn't going anywhere right now, so this would be no trade. You just don't have the range to make anything out of it. We had a cat Swiss earlier. Or cat Swiss. Yeah, cat Swiss.
Okay. Let's check here.
Any other questions?
Let's see. So remember that wedge we drew on S&P 500 just while we're sitting around? It's coming. It's into the wedge again. You might get a bounce on the bottom there.
That's what I'll let Jackie take. Is Jackie still here? Or you?
I think she's here.
I don't know
I'm
if I have
here.
that one.
Sorry,
Okay,
I was on mute.
So that since that's your baby, let you. I'll
what do you seeing with S&P? I'm just gonna.
I was on the news. I was on my FX Books economic calendar, and in 3 minutes, there's high impact news, consumer confidence for the USD. So I anticipate S&P to just go wild after that drops, and it already started. So
Yeah, it's dropping nice and hard.
yeah, remember, and didn't I say earlier, I was like, let me hop on out of here and secure the bag before something happens. So that's why I jumped out. I mean, I jumped out because it was really hitting that resistance hard, but that's what the major news is. So just really quickly, I'll share my screen. For those of you guys who don't really look at the news too much when you're dealing with trading, I think it's a good idea to do so. Utilizing AIRO, you don't necessarily have to focus completely on news. And I'm talking about any financial news. Look, it's not just the economic calendar on my FX book. Shoot, somebody can drop a tweet and make the markets go crazy. You know, we've seen it happen. I mean, literally, like multiple times. Somebody can post a tweet about Moderna. Remember, like a couple months ago when they first came out and they were like, hey, the vaccines was doing great. And indexes went crazy, you know? So any news affects financial markets, right? But these scheduled ones is things you want to look at. I do look at Forex Factory, but I also look at my FX book because it seems to just have a lot more in there, but I use them both. And since it said it was high impact and it was consumer confidence, okay, I'm thinking businesses, S&P, yeah, something's going to happen. And kind of just looking at S&P right now, I went down to the M5. But if you want to look at my H1 as well, which is where I was at, and I zoom in, we see that I was up here. Remember, I got out here and it kept going. I was like, oh, that looks beautiful. And then what did it do? Came right back down, formed that wick, and it's dropping. Okay, so I'm like, all right, but it's not dropping hard. It's just dropping a little bit. So I don't know what this news is going to do. So since I got out, I go down to the lower time frames because I'm actually trying to see if I can scalp it now and see if we can do a trade on it. And then this is what it looks like on the M5. So same thing. I'm doing a bag entry off of this. I don't do anything special on the lower time frames. Bag entry, bounce, arrow, go. That's all I'm looking for. And I'm confirming what my trend is. So when I come in, as you can see, we got no pink, no resistance, because it got smashed within this hour, and now it's dropping. So I know I'm in an uptrend. I'm looking for nothing but up arrows off of the M5. I don't trade on the M1. I'm just not good enough. But my success on S&P scalping has been on the M5. So that's what I scalp off of, and only do this because one, I'm on the call with y'all and I'm trying to catch another trade. And two, if I didn't make my goal for pips from the week and the swing trade kind of got stopped like it did, then I'll come down here and see if I can scalp some more. But again, I try to be out the markets before Wednesday for sure, by Tuesday. And as you can see, the trend is changing. So you got this little red changing now as this drop. Now, we've had one arrow going up already, right? I was hoping we were going to get a second up arrow, but I guess no confirmations didn't happen. So it didn't happen. Now that it started retracing back, again, retracement, pull back, same thing. You can draw a fib even on a 5 minute if you want to. I don't because I'm not really good at catching things like that, but same thing. It started trending down. It would have been nice to get a down arrow, but it's 10 o'clock now. That news just dropped. And let's see what this thing is doing. It's kind of going back up again. If I would have got that down arrow, I would have been more than happy to wait for an up arrow going in. Now I just don't know.
Hey,
But,
so Jackie,
yeah.
how about this? Go to go to your hourly chart.
Yep.
Humor me for a minute and put a trend line from the bottom of that low to hit that higher low. So
darn you, Matt. You know I can't draw 10 lines to save my life.
I know. Here.
Okay.
Right there.
I'm gonna be
put it there.
All right, got it.
Sorry, that red wick. Anyway.
Which one? This one?
No, well, that's fine, but Here, sorry
You
guys.
told me not to cross the bodies.
I know, but your trend line's a little bit off. It's my fault. You see that big wick there? You want to connect that to your trend line.
This one or this
Yeah,
one?
that one.
This one?
Yeah.
It is there. I started it.
No way. It's that long?
Yeah.
Yep, I think it is.
It is.
No.
Yeah, that thing rinsed everyone yesterday who was in a buy straight up.
That's
All right.
That's from the bottom of that money zone.
Yeah, it formed
Okay.
a low. And
All right.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
I'm
know.
not. It seems off. Just because of the green zone, I can't really see the bottom of that
Oh,
wick.
sorry.
So
Here you go. It's right here.
yeah, so it's good.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm color deficient sometimes when it comes to the green. So that's perfect, Jackie. So guess what, guys? This is not forecasting and this is nothing to do like that. But if Jackie is going to enter this trade on a buy, if she gets the green arrow, and if all of the scenario plays out as she's thinking, where do you think she's going to put her stop loss? Do you think she's going to put a 40 pip stop loss and let it go way deep down into that zone? That's a pretty strong trend line. It's only got 2 hits, but it's got that really big wick.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to want to put it right on the trend line, but you're going to want to put it maybe 5 pips away or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Like maybe around here somewhere. Let me see. Maybe like around here.
That's a little more advanced, right? If you have never taken your 100 demo trades with AIRO, do not put a trend line and put your stop loss on the other side of it. Okay, don't do that. You need to take the 40 pip stop loss until you understand, until you experience what AIRO truly is. We can say this about AIRO and that about AIRO, and this is our win rate. What matters is what's your win rate. What are you trading, and what's your experience with it? Jackie knew that when it came back, she had enough room to withstand that drawdown. She positioned size properly so that she could withstand that and not go, oh my goodness, I'm going to dust my account.
Yep.
Right? What are you risking per trade? 2 to 3% maybe?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. So what happens if the trade goes wonkers and the news comes out and you get a 500 pip candle out of nowhere? You're not rinsed.
Nope.
Because you set this up. That's part of your game plan. And we get the show on the road.
Yep. By the way, engulfing candle is appearing here.
Yeah, I saw that too. And you see that big wick? You see that big wick?
Yeah.
So anyway.
This is nice. Man, I'm taking a trade next hour. Just like I'm getting on that. I ain't missing that to save my life. I love that thing. You guys all see this? This is beautiful. You want to know what? I never even cared about candle formations until these guys started talking about it more, and I got that candlestick Bible. Man, that's my favorite. And then this thing, somebody said dragon tail and somebody said kangaroo tail. For those of y'all who commented, thank you for even listening and commenting. I appreciate that. We're all learning here. But yeah, totally jumping in next hour. M5 people, am I gonna get anything on the M5? Probably not. If I didn't get a down arrow, I'm probably not gonna get anything on the M5. And why is my screen not moving? Come on, thing.
Good question.
I need my M5. There we go. Okay, y'all saw this? Remember I said that thing was coming down? And look what it did. The news hit and that thing went right back up again. So I wanted this retracement to happen, but it didn't give me my M5 down arrow. So now I got to be patient, which is fine with me. If I go down to the M1, I got my buy right there. But am I jumping in on the M1? No, I am not, because I'm not good at the M1. And then look at that. These look like railroad track. Oh, almost. I thought it was a railroad track, but it's not.
Hey,
but
Jackie,
yeah.
Humor me. So go put a fibbo on that retracement.
This one?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So
You want
From
me
the
to actually measure the retracement, or you want me to measure the uptrend?
Nah, I want you to measure the retracement.
You're not right for this, Matt. Yes, it's at the 62.
Yeah,
It's gonna come back down,
potentially.
and then maybe come back down, bounce off of this zone here, and then form a W for me, so I can take it off again.
Yeah, so you can get a nice solid wedge, and then you might look for a buy eventually.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I'm buy today.
Right. So that's interesting how you can put that all together, right?
Yes, multiple things. If Mo was here, she'd probably be all over this M1 because she uses the RSI. And
she showed me. She showed me some things.
I was like, but you know what? She uses the RSI. Everybody that knows me knows. I can't stand that indicator. I can't work with that thing to save my life. I just can't. And just so everybody knows, I lose trades too, right? And we all do. We're traders. There's no perfect trader. You're supposed to just win more than you lose. That's how you make a living off of this thing, you know? However, I know my limitations too. There's some indicators that are far beyond my thought process. And the RSI, me and Mo go at it all the time. She's like, "Oh, Jackie, you just gotta use this and this over here." I'm like, "Look, Mo, do you see any RSI on my chart? No, not at all."
See, Matt, there's a trade that we had earlier this morning that's developing, the Euro Aussie.
Here, you want me to stop sharing so you guys can do that?
Let me show you what's happening with that. It's pretty
let's do that.
It's pretty much what we called earlier on the. This is the one that it was an Aussie pair, which we kind of hesitated to take because of the banking holidays in Australia. But everybody see my charts?
Oh yeah.
Okay, and this is right where it was. And remember we said that there was this is where we had the down arrow. Now this is the one I believe we had discussion that somebody had zones, somebody didn't have zones. I think I had this, but I think there was a red zone and a green zone. And so, but we had it in the downtrend. You can see where we actually had the wedge, and this is where the entry was, this blue line. And I said, if it comes back, if it breaks and comes back down and retests the line, I'd be apt to take this trade. And so that's exactly what happened. It broke the bottom of the wedge, came back down, retested it, got into trade, and now the target is all the way down here. And you can see it's just about, this green line is my 20 pip target from here to here. That's my 20 pips. It's just about ready to fill that target zone.
All right, so getting lots of questions about things that are part of the secret sauce of AIRO that are not disclosed for the integrity of the, the integrity of the indicator. The moving average is not going to be disclosed. I don't know what it is. I think it's only the developer that has it. And the other question that comes up often is, how are those zones painted? Well, I'll just be honest with you. It's part of the secret sauce. It's not disclosed.
Yeah, I do not know. I don't think anybody knows. Well, Nathan knows, of course, but
Nathan knows, but no one's going to be disclosing that. That's just, we're going to have to live with it. You don't need to understand. Ooh, here we go. Some things we don't need to understand every aspect of it in order to use it and see great success with it.
Yep, that's right.
Actually,
I do think in one of Nathan's videos, I think he did mention something about the moving average, but you'd have to get that out of his mouth, not ours.
Yeah, I don't know. I never heard what the moving average is, and I've heard him say multiple times that that's proprietary. So
yeah. So, but all we know is that it does work. There is a method to it, and I said if you combine just the strategies that he has, you either believe the software or you don't. If you can take enough trades with strategies and you get profitable with it, you'll start believing in it. If you start trying to tweak it other than what has been already back tested and tested, and you may get better results, but the more likely you will get less results, and then it's not the software's fault, it's the way you present, the way you trade it. There's very
Oh, I like that.
there's
I like what you just said.
there's very specific rules, and if you follow those rules have been back tested over several months, if not years. That they know that over the course of time, you should win more. That now you may get 3 or 4 losing trades in a row, but it stood the test of time to where sometimes that's just a anomaly in the market conditions that doesn't quite allow you to get that.
Yeah, you need to have the law of averages on your side, right? And that's why I like to mention 100 demo trades. What's going to happen in 100 demo trades? You're going to lose 30 trades. At least 20 of those trades you're going to lose. And guess what? Secret, though, you could lose 10 trades in a row. It's probably highly unlikely, but you could. And just because you lose those trades in a row doesn't mean that the system doesn't work. It just means you need to keep on trading.
Yeah, as far as those resistance and support zones are going, if you go through the AP Forex Basic course, which is in AP Academy as well, you will see a great video about support and resistance. Then you start understanding how to identify those yourself. But guess what? We have AIRO who does that for you. It's so convenient. It saves you a lot of time.
What I really like about the AIRO is what it does. It tells you, if you look all the way back to the left, you'll see where this zone was formed. And what it does, it tells you that there's sellers all the way back off your chart. If you can scroll over, which is hard to do with MetaTrader 4, but if you scroll over, you can see this is really what created the zone. And then you can see every time the zone was challenged. Let me go move this out of the way. Move this back over to the beginning of the money zone here. Every time this series of candles are the candles that fit the criteria to generate the zone. It came back down. You can see where it came back up. This little candle right here tested that zone. Came back down. It fell apart. Came back up. This zone's still valid. It's only been penetrated once, right? From all the way back here in the 3 days ago on the 22nd. This has only been penetrated once and it came back down. So you know that there are sellers up here. Every time it comes up, the sellers come in and they start driving it back down again. And that's the beauty of it, is that you don't have to go back and hunt for these things. It already draws it for you. And then you can see how many times that zone was tested. Created, tested once. And we come back over and move the chart over. And you can see it was tested once right here, tested again right here. It fell back. This zone was created all the way back here, back on the 21st of January. That was 5 days ago. And now it's came back up, tested this one. And this is where you have your M. Here's your long leg up. Here's the bottom of your M, came back, retested. And you can see this line right, this is an important distinction. If you have this line here, and you have a lower high that came up and retested that zone, and you can see there's a little bit, not much, but there's a little bit of a slope here. Here's your first leg up, here's your M, here's the middle of your M, there's your next leg up, and now it's coming back down to retest down here. Now, if you want to draw your M's, you can have, let me see if I can draw this here. You just get another alert.
We did. I'm just going to have a look at it.
Yeah, as an M5 S&P sell.
So here's your M. Here's the zone. Here's the first leg. That's the left shoulder of the M. Here's the middle of the M right here. I wish I could just do a ray, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. And then here's the next part of the M. Here's your M, and then here's the next target. And we're probably looking at coming on down to probably around this zone is probably about where this thing's going to end up. And you have two arrows. You have a nice, here's your bounce, there's your arrow, go. Here's your second arrow, go, and this will be your target. Now, you can see right here, it got right to my 20 pips. It didn't take me out. And that's where you have to decide. If you're here sitting at, you see that bouncing off that, there's a pretty good chance that it could still break through that. But if I'm going for 20 pips and I'm seeing I've got 19 pips on the table, I know it's got to go through the spread. Right now you have about 2-point spread. It has to go through that target by the spread in order to get filled. And sometimes, a lot of times, you may want to just, and there's other traders out there doing the same thing. Although they may just say, well, I'm just going to take my profit right here, wait for another pullback, and maybe take another position. As long as you're below this moving average, you can stay in this trade. Until, I would say you can stay in this trade until either breaks this trend line right here where the moving average is, or it hits the target down here. You can absolutely move the target. If I can get this, this would be target 2. The 20 pips would be target 1. This could be target 2. Target 1, target 2. And if it comes back and it goes above this moving average, then you may want to think about getting out. But if you got in all the way up here, you still have a nice little profit on that trade. This is how you can stay in the trade. Just as long as it has red candles, as long as the red candles are below this moving average, you can stay in it. And then it's up to you to decide how much profit you want to take. A lot of times I just go for my 20 pips and I wait for the next trade.
So there was a lot of people talking about US 500, Jackie. So
go ahead, take it away if you want there, Jackie. I just want to show that trade there.
Here, let me show something real quick. How about that?
Go for it.
I'll stop sharing.
Okay. I don't trade S&P 500, okay? But this trade setup, I might potentially take. I don't generally do it, but this looks too good not to take. So anyway, I've got a pitchfork. Forget that. All I want to look is the trend lines. Trend lines, trend lines, trend lines. Look at here. What do we got? We got a trend line, and then we've got another trend line right here. What are we looking for? We're looking for a bounce at 38.50 or so. 38.50, whatever, in here somewhere, right there. If those two lines intersect, price intersects that, then you potentially have a trade, whether it breaks out towards the bottom or it comes back up and slices through everything like a hot knife through butter.
We're looking for the slice. We're looking for the slice.
Right. So remember this stick that I drew earlier? So I put the stick. So we're waiting. Check this out, guys. Oh, don't want to mess that up. I had this all lined up properly. Here. Okay, we're going. Come on, leave a wick there. Want to bet? We'll have a wick on that. It's going to pull back nice. Because these trend lines are not random. Remember, this is the 15-minute. And this is just how you can kind of use trend lines to help you get tighter entries. And if you're new to this, hey, guys, don't worry. We're going to continue to do bag strategy 1 every opportunity that we get. But when it's a little slower and we got a nice potential setup like this, then there might be an opportunity there.
Somebody asked me about Euro GBP.
Euro GBP?
Yeah, I was like, there hasn't been an alert on that in a while.
Yeah, but, so what are we talking about? Like 1 hour, 4 hour, or what?
But I didn't even see it. They had sent it to me in Telegram. I don't know why they sent it in Telegram, but it was all. I guess it was the H1, and I said I missed the trade, but that would have been a trade I would have took, honestly. But so I'm just throwing that out there. Whoever said that, it was valid bag entry at the time, but it's gone now.
Yeah, let's see. No,
I'm not chasing trades.
No, don't chase trades, guys. Set your game plan up. Set the traps. Go check them every once in a while, right?
Mhm.
We have an idea of what we want to do. God help you if you go short with this powerful uptrend, right? In S&P 500.
Mhm.
Maybe it's going to go. Maybe not. But you see that wick there, guys?
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean nothing yet, right? So let's go to the 5.
Means something to me.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. So I want you guys to pay very close attention. So I'm going to line this up a little bit better than what I did earlier, because now, guess what? You're allowed to change your trend lines. If you have a breach, you need to readjust your trend lines. You don't want to have candle wicks break through, okay? Super important. What I want you guys to pay attention to right now, this trend line. So bounce, 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 and it bounces. The red candle comes down, tags it. The next bullish candle comes, leaves another wick. That's pretty cool. Am I taking this trade yet? No. I'm watching and observing to see if the trade setup makes sense. Do you have anything else to add, anyone, or on this one?
Bro, you just made my day, man. That's all I'm saying. I'm just waiting patiently.
Yeah, because this is called money, guys.
Yeah.
This is called money. There's no trade yet.
Not yet. And I think it's beautiful as you show trend lines, like even for people that are new to this, right? You're like, oh, well, these are trend lines. Hey, I don't necessarily normally draw with trend lines either. But the more knowledge you gather and you can start to apply that to your trading, it just makes it a lot more easier. Like me, y'all know I can't draw to save my life. But I told y'all I'm waiting for an M5 alert too. So can you imagine if you apply what Matt is showing you guys with the trend line? Maybe you can get into the trade sooner than the AIRO alert. Yeah.
Or
Catch
you
more
can,
pips.
or on the other side, you can play much more conservative and have a tighter stop loss, but still position size as if you're doing a 40 pip stop loss.
Yep.
Which means, check this out. Which means if for example, we get a buy arrow, okay? I'm not saying that we're going to get one. If we do, my stop loss is going to be on this line here, okay? Which means if I position size for a 40 pip, here, for the sake of everyone's sanity, let's make some realistic numbers here. So profit level, so say we do 200, okay? Because it's in points, not pips. And then we say 400. Get ready. Look at that big fat stop loss. Oh, all right. So say I put 2% of my trade, 2% of my trading account into this trade. It means that for me to make 2% of my trading account, the trade has to go 40 pips. Okay. In here, I would be making 1% of my trading account. Now, let's do some magic. Let's shrink this. For the sake of everyone's sanity and for realistic numbers, going from 40 to 20, you're making 2 times the amount of money you are if you use the same logic. So you put 2% of your trading account into a 20 pip stop loss. Don't do this if you haven't done your volume of trades, because you need to know what you're doing. Okay, because you can't. The last thing you want to be doing is over risking. Okay, so here, but this is where you can take this to different levels. Basically, AIRO is all you need, guys. AIRO is all you need. You master AIRO, you can change your life. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Okay, now let's take this to the next level, a 10 pip stop loss. And for some traders, 10 pip stop loss is actually still pretty big. Okay, but for AIRO, that's really tight. That means that every time the trade with 2% goes 10 pips, How much am I making? I'm making 2%. So now, instead of making 1% on my account, this same trade, I'm making 4%. That's the difference of having a big fat stop loss down here and having a volume of trades where you can start and you know certain things. Okay? This is not beginner friendly. Do not use a very tight stop loss if you don't have a volume of trades on S&P or on whatever symbol you want to trade, or whatever indices or precious metals or crypto. But these principles hold true no matter what you trade. Okay. Now let me go ahead and just maybe knock your socks off a little bit. Okay. And this is through volumes of wedges. We know that it's going to go the length of the stick 75% of the time from the breakout. Okay. For example, where's the breakout? There's no breakout yet. If it breaks out from the breakout, it has a 75% chance to go the length of the stick. What does that mean? That means that my take profit potentially has a 75% chance, if it breaks here, to go 40 pips from my entry with a 10 pip stop loss. This is where you can get to with AIRO. This could be the end game. Do you know what this trade's worth? 2% in the 10 pips. Okay. Every 10 pips, you make 2%. Potentially. And this is not forecasting, and this is not financial advice by any means. Okay. So, and this is not enticement. This is just reality. Okay. So 10 pip stop loss, potentially 40 pip take profit. I've got a really strong trend line right here as well. And there's something here that I'm not going to get into for the sake of this call, but up here, we're talking about 8% of your trading account in one trade, potentially. That is where you want to be. Who's making 8% in one trade with proper risk, not over risking your account, not being too aggressive. Anyway, I will leave that there for anyone who wants to mess around with that, but let me just send that. Oh yeah, and let's not use a 10 pip stop loss, because I just wanted to demonstrate the difference between using a 10 pip stop loss and using a 40 pip stop loss. So instead of making 1% on the trade, someone that's been doing this for a while and has a volume of trades and puts in the work and the effort to understand AIRO and take lots of trades can make 8 times the amount of money someone that's just using strategy 1, entry, basic. So you can go up certain levels really fast. The more trades you take, the more quality trades you take, the better off you could be.
Hey, Matt.
Yes.
Somebody asked about USD CAD H1 alert.
Yeah.
And I jumped in that. Thanks a lot, Shane. Appreciate for you bringing that to our attention.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
I literally just jumped in it when I saw you just said that.
No, you guys are fine. So this is not a forecast, okay? This is what could happen. It could just as easily fail here and go straight down and melt, because there's another trend line right here.
Yep.
Okay. And this forms a wedge. But we'll forget about that. anyone have anything they want to share on their screen? Any potential setups?
I'll go through the USD CAD one real quick.
Yeah, do it. Since you're in that.
Since Shane just brought it to my attention. Here it is.
Oh, I have one quick thing. So someone said, what's the lot size for number one strategy suggest compared to the account size? Guys, that's proper position sizing. It's really important to make sure you go through the basic videos first, right? Go through the back office, have an idea about position sizing and understanding that you're going to want to generally risk now this could be construed as potential financial advice. It's not. Most traders are risking anywhere from 2 to 3% of their trading account per trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any more than that, you're looking to get your butt handed to you.
Straight facts.
Listen, you take 2 losses of 5% in a row. Oh, you're gonna get set back, and it's not only gonna be you have to make 10%. You actually have to make something like 13 or 14% just to get back to where you were.
Mm-hmm.
But you take a 2% loss, it's not such a big deal. Remember, you can take all those losses all together, right?
If you want, I can show the position calculator.
Yeah, right after Jackie's going to share her trade setup on US CAD, right?
Oh yeah, and good point, Al. We do have that.
And that's coming for everyone. That's coming for everyone later. It's still in the works. There's a little bit of math involved, as you would suggest.
Absolutely. So shout out Shane, man, for bringing that up for the alert. And I forgot to put USD CAD on my chart. But he talked about the H1. So you guys know I've been talking about H1. So H1 is the hour time frame. Bag entry. Still, that's all this is. You don't see no Fibonacci on this or anything like that. I took the trade because down alert came. So what am I going to do? First thing you do, zoom out to confirm your trend. We have more pink than green. I am in a downtrend very clearly. Okay. So we are only looking for down arrows. All right. Down arrow, confirmation number 1. Did I get a bounce from a resistance zone? Yes, I did. Couple of them right here. When price hit there, went away. That's a bounce. Came back, went away. That's a bounce. So yes, bounce from a zone, arrow, go. Here's the thing: when you're on the H1, what he will teach you in the video is you take profit, recommended take profit, or suggested take profit. I'm gonna say suggested. It's 50 pips, 100 pips stop loss. What Matt was showing you is be a way to tighten those up. But if you want to just go right off a bounce arrow go, set your take profit for 50 pips. Let's do that. Okay. I already jumped in the trade. Remember, this is my little small live account. So I'm not putting a standard lot on here. Okay. No, got my little 0.01 and keep it moving. All right. No need to risk more than what you actually want to. So let me get that out. This one click, I put my sell in, I'm going. Here's my trade. Open. Now, drag it down to set your take profit. I'm going for 50 pips. And the reason why I'm going for 50 pips, I got nothing stopping me right now. Nothing. Okay. I could go all the way down to the support zone, but I'm just showing you if you're going to just do it quickly, you're on the go, you're at work, you got the alert, fit the quality, put your 50 pips in here. Where's your stop loss going to be? 100 pips. Just again, you don't really know what you're doing, all the other stuff. These are just the suggestions. 100 pip stop loss is dang near off my screen, I think. Let me get this out of the way so I can see it.
Way up there, Jackie.
Way up there. Yeah, it's way up there. Yeah. I'm just going to put it up there. Yeah, it's like past the red. So there you go. 100 pips. Stop loss. So what does that do? I'm going to fix this up later. But what does this mean? This is where I'm at. And this is how far price got to go to get to me. You know, you can only risk that 100 pips if you're comfortable. For me, I'm risking $7.88 on this account to hit those 100 pips. I'm going to probably tighten this up because there's no reason, I don't foresee price coming all the way back up there to touch me. You know, so I'm probably going to tighten it up. But for those of you who need to be on the go, quickly set it and go about your business. Honestly, this 50 pips, I got free clear skies here. I'm probably going to draw my fib and make this take profit go even longer now. Okay. But that is just a quick USD CAD H1 alert. And now go live your life. Because once this thing hits, that's 50 pips. You know, I told y'all my normal goal is 75. This one trade can give you 50 pips and you only got 25 more. Maybe that's 1 to 2 trades a week, and go live your life. You don't have to trade every single day to make money in these markets. You can if you want to, and I'm not saying anything nobody can't. I'm just saying, like, if you are so stressed about taking trades and you're so stressed about maybe setting goals for yourself and not thinking you could meet them and stuff like that, hey, utilize bag entry off of the H1. Same thing, you know, and you keep it moving. So just wanted to throw that out there. Take it away, Al, so you can see the position calculator, because I know they want to see that.
Here we go. Let me go and put this on. Hang on a second. Here's our position calculator. And what we have, well, what you do is we have a whole list of our different currency pairs. Now you'll see that the standard lot size on a lot of these pairs is different. A lot of the US pairs, you'll see $10 as a standard lot size for a pip value. But like for example, the US CAD, let me just go, if we go, now this, the one we have, it has a drop down if you have the higher, the newer Excel spreadsheet. But let's say you use a US CAD, and that's what we're looking at here. You see the pip value of the US CAD is $7.09. So here's our pip value, $7.09. Now Jackie's saying that she's going to risk 100 pips. Well, if her account size is, say, $1,500, 2% of that account size is going to be $30. Well, in order to take a full stop at 100 pips and only lose $30, the largest lot size you can take is a 0.04. Now, keep in mind that if she has her target, if her target is 50 pips, her target's going to be half. She has 2 pips stop for every pip profit potential. So she's really only going to get 1%. So if she hits her 50 pip target, she's only going to get $15. But if she hits her 100 pip stop loss, she'll lose $30 with this lot size. If you have a smaller account, let's say you have a $500 account, and you're using the same value, now you're seeing that you can only take a 0.01, which is the smallest you can take on this trade. You'd be risking $10 for 500 with 100 pip stop loss. Now, normally what we're looking at is with most of the 15-minute chart trades, we're looking at 40 pip stop. So we put 40 pip stop in here with a $500 account. You're still risking $10 because that $10 is always going to be 2% of whatever your account size is, or your risk is going to be, if you're using 2%. Now, if you, let's say you say, I'm going to be a little bit, I have a small account, but it's only a small portion of my net worth. So you may say, well, I'm going to take a 3% risk. Well, 3% risk is going to be, now you're going to be risking $15. And now you can take a 0.05 lot size. Or you say, well, I don't want to risk even 3%. I don't want to risk 2%. So you want to risk 1.5%. So now you're risking $7.50. Pip size hasn't changed. Your risk hasn't changed. Your pip value hasn't changed. Your account size hasn't changed, but your lot size does. And that's how this pip calculator works. What you do is you decide, you find out what pair it is. You come over here to the list and see what pair you're going to be doing. If let's say you're doing the British US, that's $10. You can see if you have a $500 account, that should make $1,000 for easy math. And let's say you're going to be using the, let's say you're going to do a British US trade, and the British US says $10 a pip. And now you're looking at, for the same 40 pip, this is your profit regulator. How much profit are you willing, what's your risk reward going to be? And this is whatever your whatever your risk is, that dictates what size lot size you can take to maintain a certain risk value. And that's how this works. It works really well.
Perfect. I got some questions to address in the chat. Okay.
I'll stop sharing.
I don't need to share for this, but multiple times have we gone over how to add that arrow, that extra arrow. So if you did miss it, just catch the recording, or maybe Al can do it at a later time. The link for the Hawkeye Zoom session will be in the AIRO announcements or in the AIRO group chat. That's going to be there for the registration link. The calculator. Lots of questions about the calculator. Guys, it's in the works. Finalized version should be ready before the end of the week for sure, to the best of my knowledge. I was talking to the guy who was doing the math behind it and everything. Okay. And then we need to get it over to compliance to add the proper disclaimers and then lock all the cells. So anyway, later on this week, you guys are going to receive it. It's going to be housed in Google, so it can be a version that's always updated with the most recent information available. Let's wait for another alert. How about that?
Sure. Oh, do you mind if I show them
how Jackie, no, you go. Draw the
I
fib.
just see the 3 questions here, so if somebody can just click on those, then I'm answering those live real quick.
Yeah, I got it.
Appreciate that, Matt. And I'm just gonna. I'm doing the fib on that USD CAD, so I already actually did it while we were talking. So if y'all, whoever mentioned that, you guys, look at y'all all ahead of the game. But I will say, here, let me fix it so you can see where I moved it from and then why I moved it. Okay, so get over there. That's pretty much, that's like 100 pips, right? And remember, my take profit was at 50 pips originally, and I said you can use the fib to tighten it up, and that's only because, again, I can't draw, so I'm not good with trend lines. I use fib. So fib retracement tool. All right, we're in a downtrend, so we draw for the downtrend. All right, and I'm gonna teach y'all wick to wick. I do body to body on other occasions, but wick to wick. So the high, drag it down, low, the highest point to the lowest point, wick to wick. Very simple. That's all you got to do, right? And this is actually a beautiful move, so you can see it clearly. So the highest point, that price closed above the AIRO trend line, because the AIRO trend line is what I'm using for this strategy. And then the lowest point, that price closed below the AIRO trend line before it had another up arrow going up. So this is actually a beautiful move. All right. And where did retracement happen? Okay. It stopped at 79. Now this is 78.6. Normally it just got rounded because Nate rounds it. Nate's developer of AIRO, for those who are just joining us. All right. It touched that 79, did not do 100% retracement. So 79 is the fib line. My stop loss is the 100 and maybe then some. So I moved this down a little bit and I just put it right above the top of this resistance zone. Okay, so I saved me about 3 pips, right? You're like, oh, okay, 100 pips stop loss. Here's where it really got nice and juicy for me. Since it came back that far, remember I said I was thinking I'm going to go to the support zone? I'm going to the support zone, dragging it down. Why? Because when I draw the fib, the trade sequence is not complete until that thing hits 0. Price has to come back to 0 in order to continue its further trend. So if it's trending down and it's going to continue going down, then price has to go to 0. It can't skip 0 and keep going. It has to touch it and then blow through it. So since we got this support zone there kind of blocking me from 0, very similar to what I saw earlier with S&P 500. Remember I said, hey, that thing is sitting in that resistance zone and it's not really moving any forward. Let me just take my profit and run. Same thing. When price gets down here, I'm gonna let it put it at this support zone. I could put it to 0, but I'd rather just take my money and run. So this is one instance where I have utilized the fib to maybe tighten up my stop loss, and that's only because it reached back this far. But I extended my take profit past 50 pips to the support zone. Now, I'm going to throw this caution out here to everybody because this is not financial advice or anything, but the way I trade it is that the 50 pips is my take profit 1. So that means I'm going to just go ahead and take whatever profit I have. If I have an additional position, which I'm probably about to do, I'll let that position go to 50 pips, right? And then I'll have another position going down to the support zone. All right. That's what I would do in this in order, because it's not a guarantee it's going to come down here, right? But you're more than likely, based upon the straight trading strategy of Nate, that you're at least going to get your 50, typically based on the statistics of it, right? So make sure you take your 50, collect your bag, secure your bag, and then if you want to catch a little bit more, drag it on down to the support zone, especially if it's going to continue its downtrend. So that's just my thought process on the USD CAD and why, and that's how I drew the fib to tighten some things up or maybe extend my take profit. So hopefully that helped everybody.
Perfect. Nah, that's good. That's good. So we're seeing a lot of different things, okay? But there's one commonality to everything that you're seeing here. It starts with the foundation of bags. It starts with the 15-minute. It starts understanding that. That's all the foundation is. Make sure you get the foundation in before you start building your structure, or else you might get your butt handed to you. Actually, not might, you will.
Oh, look at that. I just now realized that you see that the entry I took is really equivalent to the candle of the second arrow off the M15. And
I was going to mention the fact that you have a zone right there. So keep this in mind, is that when you're on the higher time frame, you won't always get those other zones. It won't be showing those intermediate zones, but you also have to look at right now on the 15-minute chart, it's showing that it's in an uptrend.
Yep.
So
true.
Just buyer beware is the point. You trade the time zone you're looking at, but don't be afraid to look at the lower time frame to see where the bounce points could be, where you may have to work your way through. Now, there's a good chance, excellent chance that Jackie's going to be right, and this thing's going to come on down, but it's not going to be a straight shot because you've got a little bit of a zone right there that's going to be bouncing off of.
Absolutely.
So we have trade.
Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
Nah, you good. Kanoa, just noticed you popped in. I apologize for not saying hi earlier.
Hey, Kanoa.
Hey. Good morning. Welcome. Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Just fantastic, my friend, and so good to see you.
Same. You guys are amazing. I'm loving these calls, learning so much.
Nice. Is that no, that's not a W. Sorry, I'm talking to myself, but I'm like, is that a W? No, that's not a W. But
what's your what's your observation so far? Kanoa, how are you enjoying it thus far? How long have you been in the room? I apologize. I didn't know.
Oh no, you're good, man. You're good. I just I woke up early this morning, went to men's prayer, and I just got back. So I've been plugged in with you guys for actually about 45 minutes. So I hopped in that USD CAD trade, and just excited, man. Excited. We're in such an amazing we're positioned so well for so much. So I'm just excited. Grateful to be here.
That's awesome. Nothing
like I'm really enjoying the extra having a kind of a panel on. I've been on these calls since Dante started them in the morning, and then I hop on with Nate. I've actually been plugging in pretty much every one of these AIRO calls for the last 2 weeks, and having you guys on and having a panel on is definitely, I just feel like increasing the value, in between taking these trades and, kind of bouncing back and forth. It makes it a lot easier, easier on the ears and just, entertaining and valuable for people. I feel like, I know for me, I'm learning so much. So it's cool to have, all of you guys on here as a panel, just chopping it up with each other, kind of, letting people into kind of a conversation.
That's a really good observation. Very good observation. Awesome. All right. So you got something else to show there, Jackie, or are we gonna go check out S&P 500, my friend?
Oh yeah. Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
I don't have my arrow yet. I don't have my arrow yet, but I did do the bounce off the zone. Oh, crappers. Look at that.
I know.
Dang it. Why didn't y'all tell me? I'm talking about y'all too. Everybody in the chat. Why nobody else said anything?
No, listen. All right, guys. Remember we talked about, and this is not random, okay? You can see that trend line where she has it.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that bounce. It doesn't get very much better than that kind of a bounce to the pip.
Mm-hmm.
That's a third hit on a trend line. There's a little bit of magic behind trend lines.
Mm-hmm.
You get a nice third trend line bounce like that, you can take that trade.
This is 50 pips, y'all, by the way. Dang it.
Yeah, well, I'm not. Listen, I can't. It wouldn't be wise. It wouldn't be wise for me to say everything that I see on the charts, because some people might take it and run with it and fail and say, "Oh, well, Matt told me to take this trade."
That's true. You're right, Matt. You're right. However,
we have to stick it. We have to stick to the bags.
You're absolutely right. Which is why when this M5 comes, we're going for the gusto.
Yeah, well, you already know it's gonna happen. You already know that arrow's coming.
Yeah, and remember I was thinking about the H1, and at first I thought it was gonna be an engulfing candle, and then look what that thing did. Ew, but it created that wick and it bounced off that trend line like we saw. So remember I said at 11 o'clock, thinking about jumping in a trade, and it would be really nice if it coincides with an M5 alert. But I am going to just wait for the alert though, because that's what I would normally do if I was out and about. Take the alert and run. But that is beautiful. Good call, Matt. And you helped me draw this trend line. And y'all know I can't draw. Everybody knows me. They know I can't draw these trend lines.
So that trend line goes way the heck down, eh? Like it's far down.
Yeah, it's way down.
So this is here. Check this out.
Just show way down there. Yeah.
All right. That is called a powerful trend line. Gonna carry weight. Guess what? When it comes up again, maybe you're gonna get a fourth bounce on that trend line as price keeps on consolidating on the way up.
Yeah, like it's doing right now.
Yeah. Who knows what's gonna happen? But we're not taking that from a bag entry standpoint unless we get an arrow.
That's right.
Because you're not going to take the third hit on a trend line unless you have a volume of trades of third bounces on a trend line.
Mm-hmm.
Don't randomly jump from system to system. And I'm just trying to share just some things that I see. And sometimes just because I see something doesn't mean I'm going to go take the trade.
Very true.
I don't take everything I talk about.
No,
I've only got 2 trades today.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Guess what? They're both in the green. So
that's right. I got my one trade in and I was happy. $15 move on this thing. This is interesting. Now I do want it to come down. Keep coming down. Come back down again. Touch this trend line. Keep doing that. I talk to my trades, everybody. Yes, I do. Me and S&P, we speak very well. Gold and me and Gold are not on speaking terms. We haven't been speaking for like a couple of months now because Gold has not been treating me right. So S&P has been fine. For a while, S&P was kind of stagnant, and I thought I was going to jump to Dow Jones 30 and trade that index. Well, guess what Dow Jones did to me? Dow Jones smacked me around. So I'm not messing with Big Brother for quite some time.
Yeah, well, that's what happens though, right?
Yeah.
Is when you deviate from what's been working and you're consistent in one thing, don't go switch to everything else.
Right. Exactly.
Like
That is where I was getting to.
don't system hop. It's not going to pay you any good.
Good.
Because what you need is your volume of trades. You need the knowledge of system performance of what you're trading. Okay, I'm not going to go to a new system and start go trading live.
There you
Jackie,
go.
how many months of demo trades did you mess around with AIRO? I just want to give people like a little bit of a backstory to say there is work involved. We can listen. Nate made the most beautiful indicator setup system. He put the math in there. Everything's fantastic. It's as simple as it gets in the Forex market. Doesn't get any simpler than this.
I did a total of 12 weeks.
Right. 12 weeks. And you and I both know that Jackie knows how to trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Jackie's not green.
Yep.
So if you're green, and not being in a derogatory fashion whatsoever, but if you're green or you're new, you need to put that volume of work in to know what you're doing. Don't be in such a hurry to give your money to the market.
Yes.
Don't go live thinking that I took 20 demo trades, I can go live and I'm going to get 70% win rate, 80% win rate, but I don't even know how to position size properly, or I don't understand what a 40 pip stop loss actually means. Right. I know it from a mental standpoint, but do you know that if you use a 0.10 on US CAD per se, and you get 40 pips a drawdown, you know what that means? That means $40 at least that you're going to lose in that trade.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
I
was going to also just say too, with the weeks that I was demo testing it, I wanted to make sure you got to also think about it. The months when you're trading are different. You know, the end of the year when this came out, markets are completely different from the beginning of the year to mid-year and during the summer. The market changes throughout the months of the year, by the way, everybody. So the volatility, the momentum, it's not always the same. So just because something was working one week in a certain way, the market can change the next week. And then let's say you don't have no trades. You know, it happens. Like one of my guys, Alexis, he says all the time, take what the market gives you. Don't sit there and try and pull from the market, because guess what? They got way more money than you do, and they can just take it from you. You're not taking it from them. So just like what Matt was saying, I demo test everything. Even after I'm live, even though I'm live right now, I'm going to go in the demo tomorrow and I'm still going to trade, because I normally don't trade during the week live. I mean, after midweek, I'm usually out by Wednesday. So I'm going to continue to practice. I'm going to continue to trade on different instruments. Like I tell everybody, US 30 is my white whale. I'm going to master trading that instrument. That instrument is different from S&P. Even though they look like they move the same, their candlestick formations are not the same. I have to learn how to trade that instrument with AIRO. Y'all see that? You have to learn how to not only use AIRO and practice bounce AIRO go, but you also have to learn how to trade the instrument that you're looking at. If you're on USD CAD, right? USD CAD looks nothing like S&P. So don't assume that just because USD CAD is moving opposite S&P, for instance, you're going to be like, okay, we're going to always be in sales. No. Follow the way the chart is telling you. This is telling me we're in an uptrend. So if I was only trading the 15-minute chart, I would be looking for up arrows, right? But remember, I'm in a sell on this because I did it off of the H1, right? And like Al said, we have support here. But the point of the matter is, I don't normally trade USD CAD. So this is actually, for me, I haven't touched this pair in a long time. So I'm just as new to this as you guys on this instrument. That doesn't mean I don't know how to trade. This is just new to me. So we all going to either win or lose with this thing here. But the point of the matter is, guess what I'm going to do after this? If I win it, I'm going to be like, all right, I'm going to analyze the trade. What did these candles do during the course of my trade? Did it bust through the support zone fast or was it slow? How long was my trade open? You know, those are all characteristics of a trade that you should be analyzing as you're doing this so that you can do what? Become better, more efficient. Everything that Matt and Al and Cameron and Kanoa, everything that everybody tells you is because you want to make sure you become a better trader. We're trying to tell you. Mariska, I tell you, when Mariska was talking about all that stuff last week, she blew me away. I had no clue that Mariska was down with trading like that. I was so happy for her because I hardly ever hear her talk about it. And I'm just like, that's what I want for everybody else on this call too, is that if you're new to this, don't be afraid. Scared money don't make money, okay? You got to put your foot out there. Get out your comfort zone. I'm out my comfort zone right now. I told y'all I made my PIP goal for the week, and y'all got me on here trading live. So I'm like, oh, great. I'm going to mess up my accuracy or whatever. But you know what? I got my stop losses when I'm willing to risk to lose. I'm okay. I'm okay with this loss. I don't care. Why? Because I can make it up later this week or next week. It doesn't matter. The markets are always here. But the point of all of this is for everyone, become a better trader, and we want you to succeed in this. The software works. Al made an awesome point earlier, and I want to reiterate that too. The software works. What you do with this software is up to you, okay? You're the one inputting the trade. You're the one taking the trade out and closing or whatever. Your analysis is what takes the trade, not AIRO. AIRO's just providing you information, and you need to analyze that information based on rules and strategies that has been given to you, these tools that have been given to you in order for you to execute the trade. And then you should have no problem with it, honestly. Whether you win or lose, but you're going to be doing it in demo, right? Just like that, that's just like what Matt said. There is no reason for you to just take this and just go jump live. If that's you, hey, more power to you. You are way more riskier than even me. And I feel like I get a little aggressive sometimes. But I just want to make sure I put all that out there.
Yeah, see, man, I see a couple of hands raised. I don't know if we ever addressed those questions or not, or if they.
Well, if people are raising their hands, they can't really. Don't raise your hand. Maybe just put a question in the chat in the Q&A box. Yeah, because we're not going to start opening up everyone's mics and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, somebody ask? Can we demonstrate?
I know there's a couple that we did address in the chat box. There was one. Let's see, what was it? Someone was asking about a video, and they were asking if I could make a video. I wasn't sure what video they were referring to. If it's,
I think they were talking about using your calculator, your PIP calculator.
A PIP calculator. Okay. Now. Yeah. Once we get the final version out, we can. I can make a video on that, and if that's what the question was, I think that can come down. We can do that.
Cool.
So the recorded Zooms and stuff, I do believe they're all you can find all that in the
AP Live.
YouTube, AP Live and also YouTube, right?
Yeah, but I don't think that these live trading sessions are only recorded for the purpose of archiving on the side of the company.
Okay, got it.
Only the 101 call that Nate does on Sundays, that's recorded. That's also being published on YouTube and Vimeo. But you will always be able to find those through AP Live in your back office.
Okay, that's good then. Perfect.
I was going to answer this quick question. Somebody asked about the USD CAD, and do I see this double wick as a possible point for price to reverse? Possibly. But since I trade off of the H1, I'm swing trading, so that means I don't anticipate that trade to be completed in one day. And then especially since we saw the zones that were in that could possibly interrupt my trade for a while, I plan on being in this for like at least a day or two. So it could reverse on me, but as long as that thing doesn't come anywhere near my stop loss, I'm not worried about it. So hopefully that answered that question. And then, somebody's at, the pip counter. Demonstrate using the AIRO pip counter. That's actually just a part of AIRO. So once you load AIRO onto the chart, this pip counter is already on there. And so it starts its calculation when you have open trades.
And that's new as well. It's working 100% since version 3. So if you're still using version 2, make sure that you use version 3. Also, there's been a lot of questions about issues with the speed of your VPS and whatnot. As mentioned on yesterday's call, it's critically important that you click on the weekends or whatnot, that you update your VPS with the Microsoft Windows updates, and that you regularly, like there's a lot of guidelines in the chat about how to improve the performance of your VPS, like running the market scanner or whatever you call it on the left there. That's also using a significant amount of resources that's not required. Yeah, right there, Market Watch.
Yeah, and if you have multiple softwares running on your VPS, for example, you have Gearbox or you have Variable running, in those MT4s, make sure that you click hide all in the Market Watch section, so it doesn't keep scanning all the charts that you're not even using, or close those panels down on those MT4s as well. Your charts have been set. Your software is running. You don't need them right now.
Good point. Excellent. Let's see. So off of that, S&P is just waiting. Anybody get any other alerts? Oh, look at that mess. That's nice. And didn't I say I wanted this thing to come down?
Did we go through the Aussie New Zealand? Did we go through that one? I see an alert on that one.
Oh, you do? Did you want to share? You want to share, Al? Or
Actually, I haven't even looked at it yet. I just noticed it myself here. Aussie New Zealand.
You want me? I'll stop sharing so you can.
Why don't you go and just can you pull it up real quick, or I can do it.
I could do that. Sure.
Let me take a look at
Aussie New Zealand. I think I saw that one time, and I think I immediately closed the chart because of all the daggone wicks.
Right now, it looks like it's in a downtrend with an up arrow, so I think that's going to be a no go.
No go. This was off the H1, he said, or on the M15?
M15. I usually the M15.
Oh, yeah, no go. Well, shoot, look at all those pink. No go.
and while you're there, while you're there, Jackie, why don't you go and show that how to put those arrows on again?
Oh, wait a minute. Which arrows?
The ones that I've been putting on my chart, not those. The other ones that.
Oh, I didn't. No,
you didn't get. Okay, let me do that.
I didn't catch that part. Here,
okay,
I'm gonna stop sharing. You show them.
There was another question. There was a question, so we'll just keep going through that, and eventually they'll get the hang of this thing. Let me screen share.
I'm gonna stop sharing. Here, let me stop so you can.
You start sharing, and then
here you go.
And here we go. We go with share. And here's our chart. We have the Aussie New Zealand. And as you can see that we zoom out zoom out as far as we can. We see lots and lots of red. I don't even see any green down there. Probably went high in there someplace. But anyway, we have an up arrow, a lot of downward pressure. I come over up here to this toolbar, and there's an arrow up, arrow down with and there's a little drop down right to this next of it. And there's the little drop down bar. And there you have up arrow or down arrow. Well, we're in a downtrend, so I'm going to take the down arrow. I'm going to click on the down arrow, and I'm just going to come on over here, and then I'm just going to left click to put it on. And now I have my down arrow. I'm just going to leave it there. And that way I know that there's a zone right here. If that zone goes away, I know that this this downtrend may be starting to reverse a little bit, but it's still in a pretty strong downtrend. So anyway, that's how you put those arrows in. Maybe just double click it and it goes away. And that's how you do that. Any
Thank you
questions
for
about
that,
that?
Al. I thought you were talking about something else.
I'll check out, or yeah, if you're screen sharing, look at the H1 of this pair, and
Which one? Okay, here we go.
we could be looking for an
that
an
changes
up arrow
the whole
on the
picture.
H1.
That changes the whole picture, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you can see how that, and keep in mind that usually the higher time frame, the stronger the trend. So like this case, we were looking at downtrend on that lower time frame, but on the H1, you can just see how that whole picture is totally reversed. And so even though, I would be really respecting this zone, because this being a higher time frame zone, I would definitely be looking at this area right here for a bounce. If you're taking this thing short with a down arrow, I would be looking at this area right here from the higher time frame. You can see this is like there's a zone and there's another zone right on top. So this is actually a level on a level. There's actually two zones, but I'd be looking at this one right here. And then we can go to, so we know that there's a zone right here. Let's go to our 15-minute chart and see what it looks like on the 15 minutes. So now you see that there's, and you see it's right now, it's bouncing right off of that. If you scroll over here to the left, you can see that this zone was penetrated. It came up, peaked down. So right in this area, this candle right here, I would mark that candle. And that's how deep this zone was penetrated. So if you scroll up, you see that if you get a down move, it could very well come down at least to that, maybe even a little bit deeper, but it's got a little bit, quite a bit of a range before it's going to penetrate that. So if we measure this from here to here, you see that zone is 16 pips deep. So that means it's going to have a nice, pretty strong move to get through that before it's going to go any lower. And so I'm going to put an up arrow, but I'm going to put a real big up arrow on that one, right into this area, because we know that there is a higher time frame zone right here that we need to pay attention to. Right, and make it real big. And I'm going to even change the color on it.
There's a comment in the chat that the Standard & Poor's just broke the trend line.
The S&P did?
Yay. But everybody knows, is that following the trend? No. So we wanted to come down, but we wanted to turn back around again, because what are we looking for? An arrow alert. But good looking out, everybody. Yay. So be on the lookout for the up arrow alert. See what happens.
Let me put this back on a 15-minute chart. Oh, we're on a 15-minute. Okay, and there we are. And that's what the picture is for this. Now it looks like you did actually get a bounce. This up arrow right now actually gives a little bit of a bounce off of that. If we look at a higher time frame, we still know that we have a zone right up here. So just be real careful with that one. A lot of these are still trying to find ranges, trying to find out where the range is going to be. Here was a down arrow where the zone went away. We have a lot of green down here. It's not, if you do get a down arrow, you're going to have to go through an awful lot of green to get your target out. Take a look at a 5-minute chart. We'll give you a different picture. And that's what I say, when you pick a time frame that works for you. And sometimes you can have different strategies with different time frames. But I would say if you're going to take a trade, base it on the time frame you're looking at, and then have the expectations reference to the time frame you're looking at. Again, if you have a higher time frame, you can need a larger stop, but you can also perhaps get a larger target as well. But the longer the time frame, the more you're apt to probably be in that trade. And for swing trades, it's not unusual to be in trades for days or weeks at a time, sometimes even months. There was a mention in the chat box about how to get out of a trade. Let me see if I can pull this. Let's see, where's my Move this out of the way. There's a couple different ways you can get out of a trade if you want to manually get out of the trade. You see that there's little X's on the side of where your targets are. These are one-click targets. Now, one thing about that is that you have to come up here to your toolbar. This is an MT4 thing that you have to, it'd be nice to know about. Go to your toolbar and then go to your options. When you go to your options, this box will come up and you come over here to where it says trading. And you see down here, it says it has one-click trading. If you have that one-click trading, if you hit, let me see where, if you hit those little X's on the side, that will immediately close out your trade. As in the same token as if you have, let me put my other chart here. Let me go to my, I got on the wrong chart. There we are. Let me get back to my, see, I don't know if I'm in a trade here or not, am I? I think I am. To my trading tab. Here we go. These are the X's we're talking about. And if you come up, if you do the one-click trading, go to your toolbar, the options, and you go to where it says trade, one-click trading. If that box is checked, if you come up here with this little, there's a little drop-down arrow to open up this little window. If I just click on that sell or if I just click on that buy, it will fill it, whatever I have in that, just with one click. Same way with getting out of the trade. If you wanted to quickly get out of a trade, you just click on that little X and that will close the trade out. And while we're at on the topic, if you want your notifications of your AIRO alerts, if you don't already have it, in the same toolbar, same options window, here's the notifications. And you load up your MT4 platform on your phone. And at the bottom, you have this box is checked. And on your phone, under your settings, your MT4 settings, halfway down the screen, you'll see where it says chat and messages. When you open up that box, you'll get a little, it says MetaTrader quote ID. You put that ID number in there, you click the test button, and you should hear a little ding on your phone. And that way you'll know that these alerts will come to your phone as well. So you don't have to sit in front of the computer. And that's a little bit of MT4 platform information. And here's a British New Zealand alert. Come to British New Zealand. And that's right here, British New Zealand. And we're going to analyze this same way. We're going to analyze this. We're going to go with zoom out, see what the trend is. We're on a 15-minute chart. Double check your time frame. Make sure you're on the right chart. We have 3 red, 2 green, up arrow. We're more in a downtrend. I'm going to go and put my down arrow in. Come over here to my arrow, down arrow. Come over here next to my zone so I know where my last zone was. I'm going to move this up and I'm going to change the color on it. I'm going to go back to my orange. And I'm going to go back to my thickness I like. And now I have my arrow. Now I know where my zone is. I have an up arrow. We're in a downtrend. Up arrow, no trade. And you wait for the next one. Any other questions? And if you also, if you want, you can also look and see where your other alerts were. You can scroll down. You can see all the alerts that you've had from, pretty much. Well, you can see all the ones for the day anyway. That's all you really need to know. And you see where they are, and you can scroll down. If you take that little box off where they pop up, you can see where they were and what the time was. Take it away, Matt.
Well, I got nothing else to say right now.
Anybody else have any questions? Anything else you'd like to see that we can maybe show you on how to work the platform?
On your VPS screen, you're going to find on the desktop of your VPS, you're going to find an option that says Windows Update. it's critical that you update that every once in a while. Because
I'll see if I can show it to. Let's see if I can find it here.
Yeah, that'd be great.
This is the VPS, and I'm going to, let's see how this, exile this. And over here, this is can anybody see my VPS? A blank with a,
Yeah, we see your
you
desk.
see it? This is the Windows Update tab that we're looking for. And this is on the VPS. This is just like the Windows Update on your computer for your Windows 10 update. But they also have it on the VPS. And if you click on this, and the box is going to come up, and it's going to show you that when the last update was. My update of this on the 19th was the last update. And so if yours is saying October of last year, you need to be updating it because it will cause everything to work a lot slower. In fact, I've had several people that I've worked with and helped and found out the biggest problem, it was running real slow and they weren't getting the loads correct. Just go ahead and click on the update. If you haven't updated since October, it could take as much as 30 minutes before this thing all gets updated. So don't be in a hurry because there's probably 2 or 3 different updates for it. Just go ahead and you can check for updates over here. Just check for the updates and it's checking to see if there's anything new. And if it is, I'm not going to update it right now because I have some live trades running, but it's just going to check for the updates. And then it's going to ask you if you want to install them. And right now it's just checking. So this was just updated about 6 days ago or 10 days ago.
And if you don't update it, Windows has this annoying habit of pulling a big bar right over your screen and saying you need to update your Windows. Do you want to do it now? And it will always happen in the middle of a trading week.
Yeah, I always check this on the weekends to just make sure that's running pretty smoothly.
It's a combination with Windows updates and rebooting your VPS. Make it a habit.
Yeah, update it in case it's right now. Let's check for updates. One option is available. I'm not going to do it right now. I could click install updates now, but I'll just wait till the weekend. I'm not too worried about this. But once it gets updated, then I'll go on and hit the reboot. That reboots everything, and then you just go and load it back up again, and you're up and running. But this is really important. You'll find out you'll save yourself a lot of headache and a lot of problems if you just make sure this thing stays updated.
Absolutely critical. Absolutely critical that you update that thing. We've had a lot of people that are talking about, well, it's not working good. Well, if you don't update your software and like the VPS itself, then you're not doing your part of it, right? The company can't do that for you because there's no way for that to happen.
Let's see. Now I think I lost my. Let me go ahead. I'll stop sharing while I fix this thing up here, just to get my charts back up again.
Yeah, there's a question here. If you can do a Windows update when you're trading, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Trades up and running, and Windows, you never know how long that update will take. So
it could take half an hour. It could take 2 hours, depending on the last time you had it updated. Now, your trades are not in danger, okay, guys, because your trades are entered by the broker itself. By MetaTrader 4 is just the platform you enter it. It's just that if you're running other software and you're doing a VPS update, guess what happens? If the take profit on, say, another software changes or it wants to change and you're doing an update, it could really cause some problems for you.
You must have seen a few reminders, Don. If yours was updated in October.
Yeah, I'm finding out most people have those that I've been working with, and I'm excuse me, I'm getting people all the time just saying things aren't loading right. Can you help me? And I'll get on and we'll take a look at it, and we'll find out 9 times out of 10 they haven't updated their VPS. And once we get that, then usually things start working a little bit better, like they're supposed to.
Yeah, it's similar to if you're using a Windows machine, you do it there as well, hopefully. because that also helps in the security of your operating system. For Mac users, it's quite new. Like, wow, what tool update?
Yeah.
Who uses a Mac?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
I do. Hey, now I'm listening.
It's
Even I have
funny.
I'm a Mac
even-
girl from a long time back.
Even I have gone around and round. But I'll tell you what, we won't discuss the problems we had getting her set up with for when she first
Yeah,
started.
that was a nightmare.
We're not going to talk about that
We're
either. are we?
not going to talk about that one.
I know several years ago, no trader would touch a Mac. They would have a Windows machine just for their MT4s.
Yes.
And
over the last
listen,
couple of
listen.
years.
I'm using my laptop to do my trade setups and stuff, but I've got a 29-inch iMac Pro, top of the line, right next to me, and I'm not using it to do nothing with my trading, guys.
No, exactly.
It's sitting there, and I actually bought the laptop for trading specifically.
Yeah, it's dedicated to trading, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's what you see often.
Mac
But-
trades just as well as a regular piece.
Man,
Even
yeah.
Richard says Mac forever.
back forever. Oh,
And
good.
once you go Mac, you'll never go back, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Oh God, I had to throw that in there as soon as I heard that.
Thank you, Jackie, because I don't get it razzed enough by these guys.
No, not at all. Like every day.
Everybody knows me. They know how I feel about Macs. So.
The same
Hey,
way
Matt.
you feel about trend lines.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to take a quick look at EuroOdd on the H1.
I can't bring up my charts right now, but if we
I can
can,
do it.
yeah,
Yeah, go pull it up. Yeah.
yeah. Let Jackie do it or someone, because I've got to bail pretty quick because I got to get the wife to work. But
Gotcha. I got you. Euro odd off of what time frame?
hourly.
H1
Hourly.
says.
Yeah, H1.
I feel like I got some Converse to the H1. That's what I'm feeling here.
I know you did. They like the bigger pips, but just understand also the bigger pips, bigger stop loss. It means you're going to be sitting in a trade a lot longer. So if you have a little bit of capital, you need to pace yourself as well, that you're going to hold on to that margin for that period of time.
Yep.
Well, I see something right off the bat. I want to see if anybody else sees it.
Yeah, I see a big M, man.
There you go.
Big fat M.
Yep.
Can't
Look
get
at
much
that.
better than that, guys.
We got a downtrend. And Al mentioned it earlier about going to the higher time frame. When I was on USD CAD, it was downtrend from the higher time frame too. But since you said that, I'm just going to jump to the daily quickly. And we have 1, 2,
Oh, it's
3,
down.
4. And then it's coming. It's coming. And you've got this beautiful space to the support. So that's nice. So yeah, H1 Euro odd. I'll be cool with that. Oh, if it would jump back to that time frame. That's me though. That's not. Oh, see, look at that. That's not you guys. That's not the system. That's me. My internet's been tripping because we got a storm coming here. So, but that's my.
But keep in mind,
BPS.
if you were to take that trade, you can't use a 40 pip stop on this one.
No.
You would need to go for your 100 pip stop.
Yeah. It's gonna go to my H1. Yeah. Let me zoom in there. Yeah, we got AIRO, bounce from a zone, overall downtrend, take the trade. I'm a couple of candles afterwards. So here's the thing that I would do. I'm not jumping in that one because I'm already in a trade now and somebody just got a alert. But here's what I would do. Let me zoom in so I can see where entry would have been. So you got your bounce. This would have been your entry, right? Excuse me, right here. Opening of the candle, just about, minus some spread. And so let's say, but you're in like right here. You can kind of measure how much away from the entry you're in. So it's only like 6 pips. You can just minus those 6 pips from your take profit and still keep going in. That's one thing I would do. You know what? I'm jumping in. Screw it. I'm at a 0.01. Sell. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, but you got volume. You may seem like you're entering that haphazardly, but you already saw it.
Yes, but I mean, I'm just saying, like I said, we have a bounce, AIRO go. And even if you like, some people have the question about, well, I'm 5 candles away. Is it okay to get in? Maybe, maybe not. But this is how I determine whether it's still okay for me to get in. I just measure how far I am from where entry was. And if it's less than 10 pips, then I feel like it's okay for me to jump in. My thought. So shout out to whoever just put this out here. Kanoa, thanks.
Yeah.
Kanoa's making us some money today.
Yeah, I'm just dragging my take profit, and I'll fix it later based on the fib.
I see the first problem zone could be about 28 pips south of us.
Okay. Just throwing this up here at the zone, and I'll measure it later. There you go. Let me get that out of this. Are you seeing it on the lower time frame now? Is that why?
I'm just looking at the where the M looks like it may bounce off of.
Oh.
We actually, on the 15-minute, we got a second arrow on this. You guys were actually addressing it like an hour ago, and you were like, Al, you were saying if you guys take this trade, you had said the same thing around that 28 pips or something like that.
Yep.
But yeah, on the 15-minute, there's a second arrow, there's a bag, and then a second arrow as well on this.
Nice. Going. Oh, I see it. The two right here.
Yep, that's right. That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the first target on this one I would be looking at probably. Draw it out here. Yeah, about 156.62 would be the first zone that I'd be looking at. You'd be having you may get a little bounce off of that.
There you go. And you know what? That works perfectly for me. See where my take profit was? For 50 pips. Right before that support zone. Off of the lower time frame. So everybody caught that. I'm going to go through it one more time so that everybody understand what we were just talking about. So we took the trade off of this bag entry, even though I'm a couple of hour candles away. I jumped in because I'm like, okay, it's less than 10 pips from where I would have got in if I would have got in exactly when when the alert happened. So I'm kosher with that. Plus, I'm kosher with it following the trend. Plus, I'm kosher with informing. There's a lot of confirmations going on around here, right? So take my trade. I'm only going to go for 50 pips. So I drag my take profit down for 50. And so what they were mentioning was on the lower time frames, because Al mentioned it earlier, just take a little peekaboo, see what's going on in the lower time frames. And you can see here, if you zoom out, what's the trend on the lower time frame? It's actually kind of turning into a downtrend, but you got a lot of space going on. And this is where our take profit is off of the H1. So it's just above this support. So we would, if it comes down, we would get out before it even touches this support and maybe bounce and turn around again. Again, Kanoa, good looking out, man.
Yeah, I'm in a trade, a long standing trade sequence from Alexander on this pair on another account. So I'm like always checking back with his O'Neill's strategy that's in some drawdown there. And it's just taken this EA trade all the way down. Mm-hmm. So I've been watching EA.
Yeah, I'm there with variable.
Yeah,
I'm not that happy with the sell.
It's really cool to see. Yeah, I mean, just learning AIRO gives you so much more confidence, even with our EAs, right? And just like having like not accepting that trade, or
for sure,
even on the EAs, it's really cool.
100%. And we've been preaching the same thing over and over, is that the people who have the best success or the most success with the more semi-automated products that we offer are the ones who know how to manually trade. By far.
It's what I've been preaching for a long time.
All day.
If you want to utilize an EA, you need to understand more about trading.
Yeah, but you can be totally green and just do
learning,
it. Still have
AIRO helps you.
Yeah. Yeah, and people can still have great success if they just want to use the products, but they're going to have
Absolutely.
more success
Yeah.
if they go in and they actually legitimately learn how to trade.
I fully agree.
And AIRO makes it so simple. And I think it's almost too simple that people think they can go in there and hit a home run every time.
Yeah, that's
Yet they've never taken a trade yet, right?
what I think that AIRO is doing, and especially these live calls, is it brings back the fun in Forex.
Yeah, trading is a very lonely world. It can be a very lonely world at times.
Try compliance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have the most loved job in any
Oh, yes.
business, like even at the bank, compliance is always like, oh yeah, you're a compliance officer. Great. Stay out of here. Oh, we got an audit going on. What's compliance going to say? So
Yep.
I don't envy that. It takes a certain kind of person to be doing that. So
Yeah, I
big
still love
shout out.
all our offenders. I still love them.
Yeah.
I love it that Joseph is shouting out S&P for me and everybody else. I feel like I got a bunch of S&P converts too.
Yeah, I think so.
I see that he said a support zone form. Yes, it did, and that's what we want.
Look, you got some people that know what they're doing now. Come on now.
Let's go.
Nothing better than having 250 some people working together. And because listen, guys, we can't see everything. We're not going to catch everything. There's no way we can catch all these trades. But after a while, you can because this is still the grassroots movement of this, right? This is only like what, 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
We're only 2 weeks into these live calls, and we've been having a blast. It's been the most growth I've had in the Forex in a short amount of time has been doing these calls because I'm always learning. There's always something new out there, new and fun and interesting that you can add to your skill set. And I mean, look at that. So now you have a break of that trend line, guys. Huh. What do you think? What do you think that means?
It's been doing that.
Right. So now it's consolidating on that trend line, which means that trend line is no longer valid. So I'm not trusting it anymore. Right. So if it doesn't bounce where I think it's going to bounce and it keeps on going and it does other stuff, then hey, listen, it didn't do what I expected. No, I'm not married to any specific trend line. A trend line is a trend line. It took me 2 minutes to put it on there. It'll take me 2 minutes to take it off.
Would I move it down here like that or no?
Yeah. Well, now you might look for a wedge.
Oh,
look for a wedge at the top there. Yeah, lower time frame.
I'm not drawing no wedge, man.
Okay, that's fine then. Don't draw no wedge. It's fine. But you can kind of see the wedge structure forming right now. It's going to drop a little bit lower. It's going to make a third touch to the bottom. Look really nice there.
Okay, wait a minute. All right, walk me through it, man. Y'all gonna have me draw this daggone thing.
Yeah, I know. All right. So get rid of your blue trend line.
Okay, get rid of the blue one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, wait a minute.
You see your hit that just misses the bottom trend line, your trend line?
Wait a minute. What you told me get rid of it. Where am I going? Right here?
All right. No. Closer.
Up. Here.
Up. Oh. No, up.
Up here?
Up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Up. I'm up.
All right, cool. So draw a trend line from the top to the bottom.
Oh, like from here to here.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you're gonna see it.
Okay. Like this. Right?
Yeah. And then draw the other one that intersects with it.
Oh, like right here going across. Are you talking about? Wait a minute. Y'all having me draw these lines. Like
I know.
This?
You're gonna get it. Right. Look at that. Look at that. Look.
Okay. Like that.
You good.
Okay.
You see you can draw trend lines?
That thing looks horrible.
No, it looks great. That's what we're looking for.
Okay.
That's all she wrote, man. That's your wedge.
Wow.
All you're doing is going from swing highs to swing lows. You're drawing your trend lines, and every once in a while they'll intersect.
I might practice this more.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get you in trouble. That's what's gonna happen.
True.
Give yourself 2 weeks, and you'll be like, Matt, look at the wedges. I got one there. Look at me. I draw this. Like, Matt, 1,000 pips. Matt, my stop loss is now 20 instead of 40.
Y'all should know better than to teach me something new. You're just gonna make the markets mad. Pips gonna be taken all the time.
Yep.
Look, Nate didn't know what he was doing when he introduced me to S&P. Look what happened. Oh, that's interesting. All right, so let me zoom in real quick, you guys, so I can make sure I understand what I'm doing here. So I guess what we're looking for is price is going to continue to bounce in between this little section of this wedge here until it got nowhere to go, and it's either going to break out to the bottom. Is that what we're looking at?
Pretty much. It's going to break out one of the directions or the other, and then if you draw a stick from the bottom of your wedge, kind of like in the middle, you're going to have a very high chance. You can't really do it on MT4 because MT4 is you can't really move the stick, I guess. I don't know how to do it, but
I don't either. But I know what you're talking about when you draw your
visually see where it could potentially go, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
You can measure with the crosshair.
Yeah, true. Good point. Look at you, Mariska, coming through in the clutch.
I know. Mariska's full of surprises.
Like this kind of. There you go.
Right. Yeah.
A
little bit further back. Not that close.
Not that close?
No, like the second hit, like second.
This one.
Right there. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like the flat bottom.
Gotcha.
That would be a good spot. That would be a good length to so once it breaks, has 75% chance to hit that. So
okay, just so y'all know, on this broker, that's not 10 pips. That's 105 pips. Just throwing that out there.
105 pips.
$10 move. Yep.
All right.
Yep. That's why I love S&P. $10 move is 100 pips. It moves $10 every day minimum. You just got to be on the right side of that movement. That's all. Just throwing it out there. But I'll leave those trend lines on there and see where it goes. You guys see I have my fib though. I no longer trade without my fib on the chart. I think y'all saw it when I put EUR AUD on there too, as I was manipulating. Oh, see, come on, Tab. We got a snowstorm coming our way.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, they said it's ice storm, which I can't stand. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, you see, I threw my fib on here right after we took the trade, and I just manipulated some things. It's flexible, and I think Matt made a good point. I'm not married to a trim line. These things are flexible. You can adjust it and maneuver it the way as price is moving. Just whatever the data correlates to you and what you see out of this. But I can just tell you right now, with this M forming, I'm going down to the other end of the M, which is the support line. And I think what did Al say earlier, you might get some pushback right around here, which is where the 50 pips are. And remember, I said, all right, well, fine, and I'll just take 50 pips and run at that point, and then I might have another position just hanging around to the support line. But here's another M formation in case y'all wanted to kind of see that. That's nice too. A little broken up, but this is way more cleaner. I like that. Gosh, I love it when these things move the way they do, and it's so clear to see things sometimes. It's such a beautiful thing.
One thing I like about this one is that it actually that big red candle broke through the bottom of the M. You have a close below. Yeah, you have you have a close below the peak of the M.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it broke that and closed below it. That gives now you're probably gonna get a little bit of a retracement off of that, right where that fib line is, that 50% fib line. I would expect that it may come down, possibly down to that 24 line that you have there.
Yep.
That could be a reasonable target. And you see
Yes.
that's right where that up arrow off the bounce came in.
Yep. Right here. Good deal. And I know you mentioned a little bit right here. You said that the lower time frame has a zone. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, if you look to the left of your charts and you see where like a down arrow was broken or an up arrow was coming up, like that up arrow off the bounce, right to the right there. That's a significant price point, and you can pretty well expect that if this thing does go down to fulfill this M formation, it will probably come out and challenge that zone between that 38 and 24, those two yellow lines. It'll probably get some sort of balance somewhere in between there, because that's where the buyers came back in again.
Wonderful. I love that. I love all that. Well, we're almost out. We got about 15 minutes left. If anybody got any questions or anything want to throw out there in the Q&A.
I think I'm done. I'm happy, really satisfied. Dante was unable to make the call this time. I think he was tuning in and may have missed him, but thank you so much for tuning in.
Look at the British Aussie. We had a British Aussie alert, and a couple people are asking, can we have a look at it?
Cool.
Yeah, let's take a look at it.
You want me to put it on, or you guys want to
yeah,
share?
Go put it on, and I can comment since you're right there.
Okay. British Aussie. It is one of the pairs in my market watch.
And one question for you afterwards, Jackie. I've seen that question come up several times. How do you remove the fib lines?
Oh, I can show you all in just a sec. Was the British Aussie on an H1 or an M15?
I've got it on a 15.
Okay. I'll show in just a second. Thanks, Mariska. Up
like
arrow.
Looks like an up arrow with an uptrend.
Yeah.
Now is there enough room to the ups to the target? That's the question.
Let me see.
There's
So
your 20 pips to the. It's going to be looks
a little too close.
177.37 plus, so 177.57 would be the target. 177.50. Well, boy, it's right there.
It was there. It's kind of close.
It is right there. Yeah, I'm looking at. I would say is right, right, pretty much at the bottom of that red zone.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like 19, 20 pips if you were to jump in right now.
Let me draw it in there.
But I'm already into. It's a viable trade though. It's a viable bag, I think. But yeah, I'm already into trade.
Off of the arrow would have been only about 14 though, right there.
Yeah. You would have got in right here. This would have been your entry.
Oh, it does look. Oh, that color's going down.
1.7757.
Yeah.
7757.
It still fits. Valid. It still fits.
Yep. So it's still valid.
Now, if you need to give up points on your entry, then just subtract that. Just keep the same target based on what.
Yeah. Just keep in mind there's 10 minutes red folder news for GBP.
There is.
Good looking out, Mariska. Is there
a red folder?
Yeah, that was not called by me.
I'm just saying that we checked earlier today, and I didn't see any red folders.
Yeah, we checked. We didn't see any red folders.
Let me see what happened.
I had. Was it off of my FX book? Because I know I saw the USD my FX book one that was high impact news, and that's why S&P went crazy.
I'm seeing some Aussie red folders at 7:30 tonight, but Forex Factory is not showing anything for today.
I'm gonna go quickly look. Economic calendar, my FX book. High impact news, boom. There you go. Well, wait a minute, hold it. I already went by. Let's scroll down, Jackie. Calm down. Up 55 minutes. Yep. Prime Minister's gonna talk. Yeah, I would wait.
Yeah, he's kind of important.
Yeah.
He's kind of important.
He's kind of important. I would wait. Oh, snap. Biden's going to talk in a couple hours too. I would wait.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. You know what? It was funny. I'm going to tell y'all something real quick. We talked about Wawa. I mentioned Wawa earlier today, y'all, right? So a couple of people was like, yeah, we know about Wawa. Okay, gas station place. Really popular here on the East Coast. So when I came out right before this call, I just got to tell y'all, I drive a black Ford Explorer. And so when I walked in, there was nobody parked around me. I was like, all right, great. Got in, got my tea, go ahead and come out. I come out, there's like 6 black Ford Explorers all around me. And I'm like, which one is mine? I didn't know. I didn't know which one was, and they all had the tinted windows like I do. We all had the same year model. It was crazy. And then I started thinking, I'm like, is Biden here? Because, like, he's from Delaware. So I'm like, is he stopping at the Wawa? What's going on here? But, it was actually the state police, and they were actually doing something else. But they had unmarked cars. It just happened to all be black Ford Explorers. And I'm like, that was weird. So just so you know, I just want to throw that out there. I confused myself because everybody had the same car as me. And I couldn't remember my parking space. Oh, man. But yeah, not jumping in that one. So good looking out. Whoever said that about the news is important. But I tell you what, that Euro art is taking off. So that's interesting. I wonder if it's doing that because of that news is getting ready to happen. Huh.
I mean, with everything that's going on with the new strain of the virus in the UK.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? I'm actually, this is interesting to watch. Remember, we're in a sell on Euro Aussie, and this is a buy. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at this candle going up and down at the exact time that Euro Aussie is doing the same thing. I'm not sure about the correlation.
Well, I can tell you what the correlation is right now. The British pound is quite a bit stronger than the Australian dollar right now.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
the British pound would be going up and the Aussie would be going down. That's correlated. So that means negatively correlated. So basically, they're going in the direction of the strength to the British pound and the weakness of the Aussie.
Nice. Would that be the same as the Euro Aussie as well? Like if pound Aussie's going up, Euro Aussie would go down. Is that
Well,
correlation?
basically what's showing is that the Australian dollar is weak right now.
Okay.
So that would be, although the Euro Aussie, that would mean that it's going to the strength of the Aussie to the Euro. Let me see.
I'm just curious because I know somebody asked me that before. Like if
Yeah.
you have, like
Right
if you're
now
doing pound chef and Euro chef, does
Yeah,
that?
right now the
matter?
British pound and the Australian dollar are both very strong compared to the euro.
Ah, interesting. Okay, well that makes sense then.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, that makes sense. There you go. Whoever asked that question. Thank you, Al.
Actually, I've got a question for you, Jackie.
Yes.
I was asking, how long have you been trading?
I've been trading for 4 years, and I went full-time trading last August. So I was trading part-time for 3 years, and I worked full-time job as a software tester. So developers normally don't like me because I find all their bugs and throw it back at them. And but I was trading part-time, and I was trading Asian sessions. So Aussie Yen is actually my favorite pair because that's the one I learned off of. Go figure, huh? But when I was trading, I did not have a community like this. I barely had anybody to talk to. I basically went to YouTube and Google University, spent money on strategies. So I blown accounts a lot. A lot of things going on with that. And support and resistance, I can tell everybody, I never cared about it. Never. You want to know what my bread and butter strategy was? Moving average crossover. That's all I used for like 3 years, all on Aussie Yen. And learning more about Aussie Yen, I found that it works so well because that pair trends for extended periods of time. So that's why it was one of the reasons why I was so successful with it, because I caught it when it would trend for quite a bit of time, and it was beautiful. And then I trade other ways of trading as well, which Nate might be coming out with later on in life. But But yeah, that's just me quick and dirty. But now that I use AIRO, as you guys can see, that's all that's on my chart, that and the fib. And oh yeah, somebody asked about how do you move the fib around? Really quickly, when you, let me see, double click on it so that the points appear, and then just left click and drag it. That's all.
It's right
How you move it
there.
around.
It's right there.
That sounds like one of my grandkids, but that's not my grandkid.
Oh, my bad, y'all. Just grabbed my daughter. She woke up.
That's okay. That's, I
Awesome.
was just thought it was so funny because that's usually how some of my calls go. And my grandkids or my kids.
Normal sounds when working from home.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. I've got to go, guys. I really appreciate everyone that came up. I hope you got some
Two
tremendous
segments.
value. Go ahead.
The removal of the fibs.
Okay.
Oh, removal. Drag. You
Right
can
click.
just make sure you right click on it. Delete it. If you can't get it, because sometimes it comes up with AIRO, then the other thing what you could do is just right click anywhere in the chart, go to objects list because the fib is an object, and then just find it in your list here. Because sometimes I don't want to delete AIRO off, but you can usually hit check mark, highlight it, delete, and then it'll take it off.
I find that to be the easiest way
Thank
half
you.
the time because it's hard to get that cursor right on the button.
It sure is, man. Anything else?
Just one other thing. I don't know if this can be done quickly or not. There's Mark is asking, can you show how to take a take part profit or reduce drawdown by a MT4, like reduce, I guess, position size is what he's talking about.
Oh, so change your take
yeah,
partial
you can
profits and
take
stuff.
part. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not in a multiple position trade, but I quickly can show you guys what you would do is highlight your trade and you would double click on it. And to take partial profits, of course, it's not going to do it for me because I'm in a 0.01. But if you were in like say 0.02 and you want to just take partial profits, you would just keep your volume at 0.01 and then hit close and it would just take it at whatever market is at right now. You could set up pending orders if you want to and do the same thing, but I would just say market execution, take partial profits, hit close, and what it would do is reduce your 0.02 lot size down to 0.01. And the same thing works even if you're on a standard. So sometimes I'm trading at a standard lot size, and like I said, I want to take partial profits. Then what I would do is I would change this to 0.05, excuse me, 0.5, because I'm trading a standard, and this is half a standard. And then I would just do the same thing, close. Of course, it's not going to do that because I'm at a 0.01, so it's looking at me like I'm crazy. But it would be highlighted yellow, and you hit close, and that's how you take partial profits.
So just for clarification, Jackie, the number you put in the volume is actually the amount of lots you want to remove.
Yes, correct.
So if you have a 0.05 on the if you're in a sell for 0.05 and you want to just take one off, you just put a 0.01 and that will leave 4 left.
That's correct.
Okay.
Cool.
Hey, this is my philosophy on news. So someone asked about Biden speaking in a couple hours. If you're in a trade and you're kind of, this is up to each individual trader, but if I know there's going to be a major news announcement or something going on, I'm going to be very cautious. And if I'm in a trade and I can walk out with some profit, then I'm going to exit the trade and look for another potential setup because there's too many setups to be sitting in a whole bunch of unknown.
True.
And I don't have time of day to go and look at, oh, well, this is what it could do, or this is like the fundamental mumbo jumbo. I'm not into that. I'm not a fundamentalist whatsoever. I'll just react to whatever's going on in the charts. And the way to protect yourself is not to mess around with the way that I'm protecting myself is I don't mess around with red news events or big movements like that. I just stay away.
Good advice.
Yep.
Was there something else, or are we good to finish this up?
I think we're good. I think we're good, Matt.
Well, I just want to say thank you to all the panelists for taking time out of their day. Just everyone, thank you so much for being here, participating. Let your friends know about this. You know, if you have people that you want to expose to Auvoria Prime and the technologies that we have, then there might be a way to get them into this call so that they can see the special things that we have available to people. Anyway, for the time being, we will say goodbye. We will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we have a call at 7:30 for Hawkeye. And then we have this same call right after at 9 o'clock, and we're going to go till 12.
We've been here for 4.5 hours today.
Yeah, we have.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's been a long day, and I've got a lot of stuff to do. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful evening.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
You guys.